Yes. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the stream. We have got some stuff in store for you. Let me tell ya. For one, the inevitability of change and evolution. Have you considered the liquidity of our biological state? One tweak of one atom here, one thrust of one blood there. Even I can discover the pleasures of flesh mouth. I am motion. I can lick. I want more tastes. I want meat. Enjoy the show. Oh, hi there. Hi, welcome. I just sat down. Hope everything went okay in that opening section when the music plays. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the stream that we're doing today on YouTube. I'm Chris, Vangelis on the internet. Ideally, you knew that. If you didn't, how? What's up to Pause? What's up? Matt Turer 75, Master Ben 95, Robot Lorekeeper, The New Sam, The Vacuuminator, Face Forward Gomorrah 2, Dynamo Dave 2002, Ben Walters, I said The New Sam. Up here I saw some, Picky Peeves is up there, I saw. Hey, what's up? I am having a very existence today. So, we got a couple things, little miles. I went to my first. Hey, I'm from press at FanExpo. So I went to my first day of FanExpo today for a couple hours. I met up with that toy, youtube.com/shift2@that toy guy, and we walked around for a bit, grabbed some lunch. Lunch is expensive in FanExpo because it's inside the convention center, but the place that I Ubered stuff in for at TFCon Toronto, whose name I now forgot, that do mac and cheese bites, were in there, and I had a bacon avocado sandwich with chips and a Coke Zero, and admittedly it was like 20 Canadian, but that ain't bad given that the same price probably would have bought like 2 slices of pizza at Pizza Pizza, and Pizza are not fancy ever. So this is sort of like, hey, Mid-Fanexpo live stream. I can do that because I don't have to go to a hotel or travel to go to Fanexpo. I just go downtown. I was able to get a media pass, so it was a real no-brainer to just figure out when people I knew were heading in there and just go like, hey, let's meet up and hang out. Dynamo Dave 2002, Pizza is bad, correct. Here's the thing. It's fine if you just eat pizza. We all do so. You know, you go to Pizzaiolo, you go to Pizza. You know, you go to get a slice at 7-Eleven or something. It happens to all of us. Just don't come out swinging, going like, "Let me tell you why Pizza is a top tier pizza brand," because then we're gonna run you out of town, and you don't want to have that happen to you. In my household, Pizza is mid. That is kind to Pizza. Hey, Chicken Soup, you didn't miss too much. Anyway, what else have I got going on? How was Ultraman Blazar? I didn't see him. I didn't go into the Tamashi booth yet. I was kind of like wandering around, then when I thought maybe I'll go back in the Tamashi booth, I was kind of like, I kind of want to go home. My shoulder hurts. So I haven't streamed for a bit, and boy howdy. So anyway, tomorrow's my birthday. What's up? Although I think of it less as a birthday and more, I like to think of it as a 4-week-long vague personal celebration gradient, during which at any point, if anyone wants to just come together and celebrate me, is fine. Because you know what really sucks? Trying to do everything for a birthday on just the day, because who knows what's going on that day. So I just leave it wide open. Also, you don't expect things. You just go, hey, let's meet up for food somewhere, sometime. Maybe buy me a Coke Zero as a little present for me. You know, nowadays birthdays can activate all kinds of existential stuff in your brain. But also, let me continue to overshare a little bit, because I've let this out all over the place. Anyone at TFCon who came across me, my mental trash bin has been a little squished aluminum can for like 7 weeks, because right before TFCon. I discovered bed bugs in my unit, and have spent quite a while unleashing death. But those things also come with a lot of, what do you call it, psychic damage. And ow! Sometimes I have to do this, because I've been sleeping on a couch for like 7 weeks, because one thing I did was obliterate my bed. I wanted to get rid of it anyway this year because it was big and heavy and stupid, but now it had, what do you call it, freeloaders. They're all very dead. I personally saw to it, and I turned into the Joker at one point, at more than one point. But they're like, for instance, I got equipped with a lot of weapons, so I had like a neurotoxin. So I held one of them down and doused him in neurotoxin to watch what it would happen and ensure that it deactivated the entity. And when you hover over a little thing that can't move very fast, dousing it in neurotoxin, laughing, you feel like you're Joaquin Phoenix. You feel like you're Mark Hamill or Alan Tudyk. Also, I got a steam cannon. Actually, I can show you. So I got a little influencer steam gun. It's very cute. I keep it by the couch where I sleep whenever I think I feel things crawling on me, because that just happens now. But I also got this mother connected to a large box. This thing shoots out gouts of hot death, and I used this. First, I cooked one of them like a lobster, and to see how long it would take. I also think that I might have like blasted one into the wall into a fine liquid, like little splat. I found some of their babies, and I used this until their babies turned into liquid. Which was, in a certain way, satisfying. But I haven't been doing very well. Up in the old noggin. Hey, don't fall over yet. So, one thing that I stopped doing that whole time was streaming, because I was like, I can't stream, I'm suffering. Which is really stupid, because one thing that makes me feel really good whenever I do it is streaming. So, I'm here to stream partly just for my own brain to feel better. So what else was happening? So there was that. And it's all still like basically the building has delivered 2 very heavy treatments where I had to literally not be in the apartment for 8 hours for poison reasons. So while it is unlikely that anything has survived, once it happens once, you don't stop thinking they're everywhere all the time for quite a while, which I thought I was just, crazy. But at TFCon, it turns out 1 in 3 people, when you go to a Transformers convention, and anyone who listens will listen to your overshare tale, 1 in 3 people are like, oh no, that happened to me too. And you're like, oh cool, so you know how I'm talking to you right now, and I can literally feel things crawling on me that I know aren't there? They're like, no, me too, it's happening right now. So it's very reassuring when someone else just tells you, no, that's just what happens. So I'm hoping maybe that will reassure you too. Also, I'm trying to unstigmatize these things, because I educated a bunch during these 6 days in between my finding them and my building being able to do anything about them. There are some little silver linings to these things. Like, number 1, the body language. Unthreatening. In fact, insultingly plotting. They don't run. They just go... there's no fight or flight when you see them. You just get annoyed. And in number 2, the first thing I thought was cool, they're here. What did I do? And it turns out that with these things, you didn't do anything. They might have just hopped aboard your shoe. They might have popped into the seam of your pants while you're sitting on a bus or something. And in number 3, they don't carry diseases. They just do the single most violating thing they could possibly do, which is feed directly on you, the person, which doesn't feel great. But oh yeah, Vacuuminator. I was recently on the Modular Media podcast. I made a community post about that. You should go check that out. Vacuuminator and some folks invited me on, and we had a fun talk about lots of things. There's a lot of bedbug vigilance that can be done. It's just the important thing to note. Even if you're vigilant, it might happen. But then if it happens, it's deal-withable. And that's something I'm still trying to accept in my brain, because I had about 10 years of the culture catastrophizing the notion of them in my brain, so that when they happened, it was pain. I'm just catching up on the chat. Get equipped with Bug Buster. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. I was like, I now have the power of Steam at my disposal. Also, it turns out Steam cleaners pretty good at cleaning. Anyway, amidst all of this, I've also now developed a pinched nerve in my back left shoulder blade, and my whole arm to my fingertips every now and then just goes into sort of a nerve tingle that is really unpleasant. This is fairly recent. I don't think it's circulatory, because it feels more nerve-based, and I know for a fact that when I have real bad stress panic attacks, one of the first things that happens is that my muscle cluster right up here curls into a fist and takes all the nerves with it. So basically, I'm laying out up front. If I'm acting weird or doing this every now and then, it's because I'm suffering in pain. So, one thing that I find really helpful is just sharing what's going on, because it takes that off of my mind, and it puts it onto all of yours. Carry my burden for me. So we're also going to Extra Fist can come in handy. Hell yeah, I hope so. Toy Guy Pain. Yeah, you hang out with that toy guy and you pick up the catchphrase, and then your whole body becomes it. But one of the things that it's reminding me, one of the things that really helped me out throughout all this stuff is every time I hung out with people, I felt better. So today I felt a whole lot better hanging out at Fanexpo, and I'm gonna hang out a couple more times at Fanexpo. We got friends coming in. This is probably unlikely, but if any of you in the chat are at Fanexpo and aren't already busy, feel free to hit me up, because I'm in town. It's easy for me to get over there. That's basically how I do Fanexpo, is I just find out who amongst my friends and acquaintances are going, and then I'll just be like, tell me what days you're there, and then I'll go, because it's downtown, and I live here. My chair just sank slightly, so I need to pull the switch. Oh, that's not helping. There we go. Chair's back up. Face forward. Yeah, we had a good time hanging out. I'm gonna see you next month. That was my phone. Oh yeah, that's. friend of mine's like, hey, do you wanna work tomorrow? And I'm like, I forgot to reply. They just said it's Fanix. Yeah, I gotta confirm that. Hey, yeah. You Sam, I can only apologize for being on the other side of the country. How dare you? Wheeljack 64, fun hanging out at TFCon. Hell yeah. I mean, there's a couple more of you in here I hung out with, either at that TFCon or previous ones. This one was a very brain TFCon, because that was a week after the invaders made themselves known. Yeah, Modular Components, episode 105 on Modular Media. Yeah, we on that podcast, do check it out. We had a good time talking about things, and then at some point I got into a big tangent of something I'm very, very passionate about, which is like how people who do creative work should be compensated, and also like should introduce the notion of themselves being compensated when dealing with, you know, business contacts in the case of influencers or just fan media enthusiasts and creators. When you deal with companies that might start reaching out to you and they aren't spam messages, how to think of yourself and what you are worth. Like not to like blow the whole thing, but like a big part of it is your time is worth more than your follower count. So if you have someone who's like, hey, can you do the equivalent of 40 hours work for us? Since you have 200 subscribers, we'll pay you $50. You go like, well, you want me to do 40 hours of work, so you're going to pay me for 40 hours, or you're going to pay me nothing. And you be firm. You be firm. You are worth something. Speaking of what I'm worth at least 2 deluxe Transformers, because I'm gonna shred 2 of those open. I've been sitting on some toys. I have opened a bunch of toys not streaming just because I wanted to open them. And some of them were actually most of them were the ones that were at TFCon at the Manic Media or the Manic Marathon panel, which I still have to edit. I just finished editing the fan media creator panel with that toy guy has a clip in it somewhere. I just want to make sure everyone is okay with it before I set it live, but it is up on Patreon in the meantime if you're part of that crew. And it was a fun time. I put in lots of fire special effects for TFI Creations crew. What's this? I took a class about working in screen industries. It was 12 weeks of the current state of the industry will crush your health for too many hours, not enough pay. Yeah. That's why, like, in YouTube things, I'm like, my main point is, like, let's establish what we're all worth so that, like, when companies start coming in and wanting to go, like, hey, instead of just sending review samples, what if we figured out, like, paying you for your time, that we all have a semi-united front of, like, what we're all worth at the base level, so that we can, you know, let them all know. Because it's like a line I draw of, like, you know, you can send a review sample and I'll review it when I can. And this is for big companies. If you're a small independent artist making like a toy by yourself or with a small crew, that's a completely different story because you're one of us. You're one of the little folks. But if it's like a big company with a big license, then it's like, okay, you can send a review sample and I'll cover it when I can. If you want to figure something else out, I will send you a quotation. And I have done that before. And I feel that I got a response that was very like, oh. And it's like, yeah, well, why'd you use the word then? Anyway, I'm gonna get those little boxes over here in a sec. I am sipping on some Coke Zero because I'm an addict. And I feel I should probably mention this more often at the start of these streams. Hi. We are streaming here on YouTube, so you've probably already subscribed, or whatever you want to do with that stuff. We also got YouTube memberships, which are a parallel to Patreon stuff. Those 2 things should be identical now, which do include entry to a little Discord server, where that's really the only gate we have, is, like, be one of those once. There's no special super secrets in there. It's just I don't want to, like, flood it and then have to figure out moderating. So that stuff is absolutely volunteer-based. Does that make sense? You don't have to do it. You can just hang out. Chatting actually makes me the happiest, because then I know that I'm not all alone in here. With that little preamble out of the way, I'm going to flip over to this shot, and we're going to start busting out. Hey, don't look at that. We're going to start busting out the stuff that I have to deal with. So number 1, I am getting to handle this for the very first time, because I have never found one of the Wave 1 Legacy Evolution Deluxes on a shelf at retail. So we're gonna. My first experience with hey. My first experience with this mold is gonna be. Whoa, that's bright. It's gonna be right here. Pardon my face cam going all heavenly on you. Can I make this a little bit less intense? A little bit less brutalist. Excuse me. Now you gotta get the fallen. I want the fallen. I want someone's regret fallen though. I feel like that's possible. Anyway, yeah, we got Axle Grease here, who I found at an EB GameStop a couple weeks back. Hey, Ultra Primal, what's up? Gonna see you at Fan-Expo, hopefully. Well, no, I am, but I say hopefully because I want everything to go well with transit and all that stuff. Yeah, I have not messed with Scraphook at all, and now no parking means no parking is out in Canada. So am I just gonna end up with like the redecos before the original? I don't know. I hit the camera. Excuse me. So I want to get into this and see how this goes. I love being able to do that. I'm trying to free all of you, from the obligation of opening your toys properly by just doing it wrong on a live stream. So one thing I am a little persnickety about is I'm less gung-ho about tossing my waste everywhere, because now I am paranoid that there are little things that are going to hide in my waste everywhere, so I'm going to try to be a little organized with this stuff. Biggie Pews, I just know I actually need Snarl, very slight exaggeration kit. Well, Snarl just came out, right? If you mean the core one, or... Oh, wait, do you mean the leader one? See, next episode of WTF at TFW, multiple times while talking to TJ and Aaron, I lose track of what toy we're talking about because everything is coming out all the time. Like, release dates don't mean anything. So... Oh, leader class! Okay, yeah, I hope you can find that. Parental warning you, the elbows like to pop off because it's just friction hinges. I asked TJ, I think, about, I think it was about on this one, whether or not this one felt better. No, it was toe line I asked him about, and in his case, toe line, he said, just kind of felt the same. Because sometimes with these toys, when you get onto version 2 or 3, little tolerance things get tweaked. It's never 100%, but it happens sometimes, so I was trying to get some intel. Okay, yeah, the core class isn't out yet. So this is the thing I already knew about, which is that this peg connector on this just mold family ain't all that tight. One thing I have found... Actually, that feels pretty tight. How did that fall out? That feels dead-ass tight. How did that fall out? Okay, anyway. I was gonna say, I've found that on Izers, sometimes... the 5mm connections on mine just get better over time. It's as though there's mold release agent that is, like, needing a day or two to dry off. Yeah, I don't save packaging anymore for the most part, so that's also why I was ripping the front open. Am I using nail clippers? Yes, because I don't have my nippers nearby. So nail clippers are closer by and easier for me to use. Also, if you're out buying tools... I think it's still cheaper to buy nail clippers than model nippers, and if you just want something to cut twist ties, you're probably fine. There's a lot of stuff in here, holy crap. I thought there was just going to be like a hook in there. Look at all this. It's going to be a whole experience. So, to be organized, I'm going to take all this and put it in there, and then put the coffin back in to hold it all in there. I should say, by the way, my little desk that I stream at is a lot messier than usual because I've been painting over here to settle my brain more often. I've been painting lately just a lot of Necrons, and they're all over the place here. So, my apologies for the hoo-ha all over the place. Can you stay standing up? Can you do that for me, please? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what do I do with all this? I will also say when I'm streaming, I tend to crack instructions open when there are 5 million components. Why are you telling me in the instructions to fold these down? You did it already. I guess that must have been a shipping thing at one point. So there, just in case. Picky Peeves, your name is in the playtester list on War on Cybertron. I gotta check my copy. I'm not gonna tell you if it's real names. You don't have to self-dox. I'll pester you later. But yeah, the deck building Transformers card game, Transformers the deck building game, which is a board game that features cards specifically. That expansion I have not yet gotten to play. And then a friend of mine was at Gen Con and was able to get, for me, the Combiner set with the promo pack. And then when he got back in town, he had to go out of town again right afterwards, so I still haven't actually picked it up from him yet. But it's nice to know I got the promo pack, especially all set and ready for my eager little fingers to grip all over. Sticking a hook in here, huh? Okay. They specifically asked for legal names. That is rough. I understand it, but that can be rough in this day and age. If I recall correctly, I'm gonna stick this on like this, or is it the other way around? Oh, I have to manually set this focus. I forgot about that. My apologies. Let me go deal with the... How embarrassing. Let me go deal with this. But yeah, in this modern day and age with online playtesting coming with, we're going to use your legal names is a bit much. I understand it, but that seems like a bit much. Prepare to watch the focus shift. Oh, there we go. So we're going to lock it. We're going to lock that ish. Can I crank the exposure to... Oh, hey! I'm fine with it being a bit bright. Better that than a bit dark. Okay. No, wait, no. The frame rate just died. I forgot that's what... It's because it's not exposure so much as it's like straight up opening the shutter. No, I'm going to change that back. Yeah, look at that. That's untenable. I'm in the midst of a time warp. So we'll go back to, yeah, that's better. Okay. Motion blur! Alright, so, I was trying to figure out if this did something. Oh, that looks like it's supposed to line up, but it doesn't. It stops right there. Okay, so maybe the fist's the other way around then. Because I noticed the offset. Wait, does this not line up? Are you kidding me? This looks like it lines up, but it doesn't. Aw. It's off by, like, the barest hint. That's cruel. That's cruel. Robot Lorekeeper, more board games should have credits like arcade games where everyone's just Zapman or Sushi X or YDG. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy that, you know, accreditation happens on those things because credits to me are better than no credits in general. But we are also in a world where, you know, some folks do not want to have their legal name just flying all over the place. This is a funny little gun. Alright, so we got our Renegade Junkion Lady Axle Grease here. No lore, other than what we have been told on live streams. So the lore is up to me to figure out. Also, yeah, we got this... Where is it? Yeah, down here. They added this thing, like an Instagram Live TikTok thing, where you can just click that button, and there's like a set of emojis, and when you hit them, stuff comes up. And am I supposed to say gang gang? Ice cream is really good. I don't know if it's so good. But popcorn does go pop, pop, pop. So, you know. Canadian innovator, by the way, from Montreal. She's the big one. So it's technically, you know, it's a point of national pride, thank you, that someone can make a lot of money doing that. Anyway, what was I doing? I was going to transform this to a car. So, looks like you got to take all the bits off. That's fine. I'm used to that with the motorcycle. With Crab Bash. Crab Bash? No, Crash Bash. Was it Crash Bash? Crash Bar? Crash Bar. Right, because he's not Crash Bash and he's not Roll Bar. We're not done here. We've only just begun. I'm with press. I'm with press. It says right here, my name is Chris Hiddleston Vangelis. All right, you can see that, right? Chris Hiddleston Vangelis right there. Wouldn't consider that national pride. NPC streaming, I'd consider that national pride. NPC streaming, I'd consider that national pride. I think I could do it. You know, so I watched a video about it. Not to go on a tangent already. I think I could do it. Now, I don't think that I have necessarily all of the performance aesthetics that would necessarily attract much business, but I think that if there was just a hard-working industry, I could be part of it. You know, I'm pretty good at saying the same couple of things in the same intonation over and over again. I don't know if I could pull off half an hour, so, you know, respect. But I feel like I could give it a good old college try. You know, if we had an NPC like booth, you know, like in the Eaton Center or something, and if someone had to work a shift there, I think I could do it. I don't know. You leave a comment. Hey gang, you tell me in the comments. Anyway, was it opening the doors on the back? Okay, toy guy, I will admit, I put the badge back on, and now I don't know where to put it, so I'm just leaving it on. Yeah, I've been saying ankle joints. Ankle joint goes tilt, tilt. Ankle joint goes tilt, tilt. Uh-oh, hand feel. Love that ratchet. So buttery. Yeah, I could... Now I've lost track of what I'm doing already. What are you telling me? Oh, you're telling me to untab it. Okay. I want to make sure you can see what's going on. I might need to... like that and aim downwards like down here. This could be a very handful shot, so my apologies. Ratchet joint goes click, click, click. Ratchet joint goes click, click, click. So buttery. So buttery. Ratchet joint goes click, click, click. I'm not even doing the thing. You know, I'm just saying it. I'm an audio version. I'm not like, you know, floating. I've only seen it mimetically, so I've not been overexposed. Oh, your leg. How did your leg fall? The leg is in there so tight. How does the leg keep popping out? Like, this feels so rock solid. What is happening? I gotta watch it. I don't know. I've unlocked a new meta. Yeah, coming for you, toy review and meta. Yeah, so I see. I refuse. I'm gonna try to freeball this now. Who needs the instructions? Who needs the instructions? Oh no. I'm just looking at this part. This could already go badly. I'm gonna figure this top part out first, because this looks the most... I'm not gonna say complex, but this looks like it will tax my half paying attention mind more than the rest. Oh, but that's a nice shape, though. Is there a steam cannon emoji? No, they limit how many I can make. And I don't want to replace any of them yet. Is that like a thing that we do where we like try to do a fundraise for more emojis so we can have a steam cannon emoji and a neurotoxins emoji? I'm still always like, I feel always like a tourist with like streaming etiquette, because I'm just doing what I see other people do. And admittedly, I watch a small swathe of stream types, and like this feels like it's supposed to tab in, but it demonstrably ain't. Anyway, I watch a menu of stream types that are not necessarily, you know, one-to-one to each other. I'm a very hipster stream viewer. Oh, yeah, that's where the TCG strat joke about neurotoxin came from, Picky Peas. That's because Zero's nice. Oh, there's that friction elbow. No, that's not the friction elbow, that's just the peg. What happened? Here? Excuse me? I think that I'm supposed to do the forearm fold before the rest of that. This is a little, what do you call it? It's a clattery conversion. Feels like I got stuff smashing into stuff. Like, the tabs are going in. I'm getting my tactile satisfaction. I just don't, what is it? The thing on mine that's making me go all like, hey, is how, like, these are in that V shape, because I feel like these are supposed to tab into things, but there's actually nothing up here for them to tab into. And that just unseats everything. Does it? Or did I just... Wait, did I just do it? Whoop! Hey, yo. So, you know, one of the great functions, right, of this piece is that you can, Oh, wait, no, it's gotta be at an angle, because this... Oh, what? Excuse me? Okay, it has to be at an angle. Alright, I'm learning. This is my tactile learning process. Hi. So these can go in there, but then these pegs have to be at this angle because they run into a thing there that prevents them from becoming perpendicular. Yeah, it's supposed to be... Yeah, logos, it's supposed... I think it's supposed to be the V. I'm the caveman figuring out how the wheel works, except it's a slightly off-kilter peg and port system. Fire burns when I touch, but if I put ugly meat in, turns into pretty meat. Tastier. Ah. Don't touch fire, but use like tool. See, I'm figuring out how the original humans learned how to set things on fire. Master Ben, the pegs on yours come off very easily. Yeah, it's like they're... On mine, on this one, the pegs aren't coming off easily. They're in real solid. And then, like, I find the magic angle and they go boop. But it's not like they're just falling out, so it's weird, really weird tensions. Now I'm going to assume I can stick this engine thing up here. Oh yeah, that's satisfying. I'm going to assume... Okay, I'm going to look at the picture for a second. Okay, so you can put these on here, or wherever. I don't know where things go on trucks. I'm not a truckologist. I'm just a Transformers fan. I have made people physically gag when I've said, yeah, I love Transformers. No, I don't care about cars. And they're just like, that's how... I'm like, listen, I'm a unique individual. Can I use the little peg now? Can I? No? Okay. Heyo, these tab together. This hook feels bad. And then we'll stick this. Does it fit like this? Oh, that just pops right in. That pops right in like it's meant to. Okay. And then this hook, okay, there's like a spot. There's like a centralized spot. Anal hook, and we're all good. I like that. Much like with Crash Bar, I mean, I'll give it a try. I wish I didn't feel like I have to remove all the bits, but also they all split in half. So can I leave them all on? I'm going to give it a try going back. Yeah, her front end can make sidecars. I mean, everything on here can can pop apart. You can also... Actually, I was going to do this anyway. I wanted to try this. I wanted to try the chariot with my crash couple. How does this pop apart again? All right, it's this bit. Because this can specifically reform in a way that feels very intentional to be lower to the ground, right? And then these have matching tab slots to pop together. And I wanted to say that this looked like it was at a very specific, like, peg distance. Like when they do this. Oh, look at they mates like a glove. Oh, that feels good. So yeah, you can do the chariot. And because these are legs, ostensibly, you should be able to just transform her again, right? Because these are just legs. But yeah, the crash bars have mateable tab slots on the legs. Yeah, take these blocks off. I will show you. Because the rear legs have them as well. I noticed this right away. You can see another tab and slot right there, like on there. So you can tab these together as well. And it's once again that it's that perfect mated distance. So this should also be able to hook into here. This just won't look as good. Yeah, this is a sillier car, but I was certain that this would work. This is part of the reason why I was going kind of nuts trying to find, you know, scrap hook for cheap, because I wanted 2 scrap hooks so I could continue this funny little experiment. But yeah, you see, this is the secret of the motorcycle ones. Oh yeah, this part tabs together as well. I should say the dark gray bit. See? So the motorcycles are designed to couple it together to do this exact same gimmick, which I think is kind of neat, even though it's like, yeah, buy 2. Oh yeah, Robot Lorekeeper. I mean, they could do this in the legacy fiction that doesn't exist. So, you know, we get our headcanon going. Can you plug it into the back so you just have a cab in the middle of a bike? Yes, I'm pretty sure I could. Because this... no, wait, that's the wrong part. I gotta get those arms out. I said I gotta get those arms out. Stop embarrassing me! Alright. Oh, yeah, this is the same as this thing here. Because also, I noticed that there were a lot of similar distances. You know how when you have this thing with the orange bits already connected in? Notice those are at a certain distance as well. Right? Oh, look, it happens to be that exact same distance again. So you can really, like, train these together. So, yeah, I noticed this all over Crash Bar. It was like this uniform peg distance. It was all over the place. And it's the same on these, too. So you can go, like, ba-ba-ba into here, and then up on the top. I think you have to point it straight up. Yeah, it's the same distance for that. So you can have this, like, caterpillar car. That's coming apart again. But yeah, I don't know how much coverage this Crash Bar stuff got, but like 2 Crash Bars or a Crash Bar torso have that same double prong measurement setup. Yeah, like Lego, but with posable little people. So yeah, this is something I've been very excited about. This is why I'm okay with getting every single redeco, but I want doubles of the Junkion color ones. So that we can just, like, I'm going to be headcanoning the whole thing, but I'm like, this to me feels like this is a whole story arc in and of itself, right? The self-combining Junkions and, you know, whatever their tales and foibles and cultures are. It's a whole thing we could have had a whole load of stories about. But no, there's no coulda, There's only we will, because I'll do it in my own brain. Yeah, Vicuminator, like, I think the only thing about a Legacy story is that all the really good story ideas, like, how do you put this? They'd probably run into a whole lot of, like, walls internally of, like, well, are we allowed to do that with that version of the property still? Because I think Legacy as a toy line, it's fine because at the end of the day, it's just toys. But all the best stories you could tell would be about, the, you know, what do we do when we have, you know, this character and this character, you know, encounter each other. Am I just describing the very basic selling point of multiversal storytelling? Maybe. But I think there's a lot of concepts in there that could be super fun. I think, like, for instance, there is no G1 Optimus or G1 Megatron in Legacy, right? That in and of itself could be some friggin' cool storytelling. You know, that Laser Optimus Prime is the sort of de facto leader up front, but then these other characters start to show up. That there's no Megatron present, but there's Motormaster, and then G-Axis and Tarn show up. There's still no Megatron present, but now there's, like, all these characters who usually are defined by being around a Megatron, right? There's potential. There's potential there that makes me excited, even if it doesn't get official stories. Turtle Tank 82, do you like Brave Daguan? I've never actually watched it. I just like the toys because they are from an era when I was, like, one of, like, 8 people in the fandom who knew what Brave was on message boards. I say specifically on message boards because I'm sure there were more people out there, but on the message boards I was on, it was, like, me and, like, Tarngold and, like, someone else. Armada Megatron asked if he's a I have not seen one yet, so I don't consider him to exist. I do not yet own one. So that is a spoiler for Legacy Season 3. That's not like an actual hardline stance I take, but just I think in terms of what I've actually found. And then, like, let Primus sort him out! Something. Just trying to remember what this actually looks like as a bike again. So got that back together. I'll just push this one over here in pieces. I want to try turning Axle Grease back into a robot without taking all the parts off. I want to see if that works. Daniel, salutations, Gamer Daniel. Face forward, I will totally buy a second scrap hook of yours because I will be in a position to do that if it's available. we will be hawking lots of plastic left and right. Transmetal 2 Megatron, who's that? I still got to pick that up. I want to get the Legacy Evo one with the fixed swappy parts or whatever. Leader toys are just... Oh, whoop, I pulled that off the hinge. Leader toys are just so expensive that I'm always gun-shy now when I see them, because I'm like, oh, why is it so expensive? I know why it's so expensive. Nothing we can do about it as a society right now, but it still bums me out. Alright, first test. The engines can stay on, because the engine splits. Proper car walk. I know people already saw this. I know I'd seen it already, but I hadn't seen it in person yet. Well, there's that whole thing, right, where the Legacy 1 version of TM2 Megatron sometimes had something assembled backwards in a sort of non-consequential way. Apparently, that is not the case on the Legacy Evolution repack. So, now that the Legacy Evolution repack is all over the place, I figured I'd just go for that one. Like, truly, I don't think it's anything critical. Yeah, it's like the wing parts or something. I had to be shown it to even understand what was wrong. I'm pulling the hook off because the hook is going into something that... Is this formed out of... No, wait! Can the hook stay in? Never mind. We will see. Oh, yeah. It was like the little shouldery, winglety parts of his wings were technically, like, swapped. It's that, you know, that thing where it's like, if you know that you can get one that doesn't have it, then you absolutely suddenly feel you must have the one that doesn't have it. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, 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 stay in there, stay in there. Kayfabe, kayfabe, maintain kayfabe. Oh, no, 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 maintain kayfabe, maintain, stay in there, stay in there. We'll flip it around, we'll do it this way. Oh, no, 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 maintain kayfabe, okay. I need to spend some time. I don't actually understand how these shoulders are supposed to unfold. Up like that a little bit. Does that make clearance? Whoop! Kayfabe, 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 maintain kayfabe. Ooh, it's a good thing that thing didn't pop out. Yeah, like, it's the little claw things, if I remember correctly. 5-second rule, correct, correct. Oh, okay, so this thing that I tried to leave plugged in was so nestled around parts, it was making this all more complicated. That's what was going on. So, maintain kayfabe. So I can rotate this bit. And rotate this bit. I think you can leave this all attached. It's just very busy if you do. Ben Walters, thank you very much for the kind wishes. And, well, the kind hopes in that case. Alright, so, now that I know that this is hooking onto stuff in there, if I just unseat them... Oh, whoa, 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 that's the elbow joint, kayfabe. Alright. So get out of there, and then we're gonna get this unfolded here. And we did it! Whoa, kayfabe. We did it! Alright, so it is very possible to transform without to do Kanzen Henkei. Transform those without removing parts. But the arms make it so specific and collision-y that I probably would just take the parts off again if I were doing that. You know, I appreciate that it's there. I appreciate that it's there. That kind of thing is usually not accounted for with Izers. I mean, these ones are already doing the whole thing of, like, we do the Izer thing, but we are normal Transformers, and we have a whole bunch of extra bits and pieces. Whoa! That was just my strength. Cower in fear. There we go. But, like, wild, look at this. You can actually, I thought I couldn't, you can almost straighten the elbow with the hook still sitting there, because it's just, it's actually, if you twist it this way, is it just chilling? Okay, now it's always going to bump something. It's almost straight like this, though. Yeah, it's alright, that's alright, that's alright. Yeah, definitely still want to double scrap hook, but I am enjoying this as, like, you know, the standalone character version. The one who's got backstory that we can all invent at length. I should... Oh, let me put this other crash bar back together quickly. Hey, just checking in. How you all doing? Hope you're all, feeling alright. Like, that's how I like to... Yeah. So by having this rotated a different direction than the other crash bar, right? That makes my two crash bars unique because one has this as the left leg and one has this as the right leg. And that's how you can tell crash bar apart from crash bar. Mozotron, you feeling very oozy? I'm down with the lingo. I'm down with the lingo. Is that honorary? Mucho Burrito, are they any good? Crash Bar and his brother Brash Car. Actually, I like that. I think I was going for something more like Crush Bear or something like that, but Brash Car. Brash Car's got that good tongue roll. Ugh. My Legacy G2 Laser Optimus is being trained by Gao Gaigar. Excellent. I'm thinking, once I find a way in my brain to build some more model kits, and I have no more backlog, I'm going to eventually pick up that real grade Gao Gaigar, because it looks neat. Oh, Picky Peeves, you found a thread. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it took me a bit. I had, like, once I saw screenshots and pictures and everything, I was like, oh! Yeah, that makes sense. So, I got one more deluxe. Speaking of waiting on repacks, in this case, I wasn't, like, purposefully waiting on a repack. I just never saw the other one. So finally, let me put this in. Oh, you're not staying. Hey, hydrate. I'm talking to you. You, the one who's feeling thirsty. Finally! Yeah, I never saw Tarantulas the first time around. And then I was like, boy howdy, I actually don't want to miss that toy. And then I saw this one, I believe at GameStop. Where else am I going to find toys? I found this one and I was like, ayo! I was hoping to catch that refresh. So, here we go. Ugh. Kozo. Ugh. Ugh. Trying to figure out the ugliest possible way, the most ugly and vulgar way to open a Transformers toy. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. Peel the tray out the front. Mozotron, have I been to a Walmart with the Toxitron stuff? I have not seen any. I saw some at Fanexpo, where obviously the prices weren't as great. Although Fanexpo had they had the 1 per, so I did see Dead End and the other 1 per case at Fanexpo. I didn't buy them, but if anyone, you know, is out there looking for them and happens to be there, they were marked up. I'm worried that they are just going to continue to be marked up because they're 1 per case. I do love how they look. They are kind of right now for me the epitome of something that are like, this is so good and I can't afford to buy it because there are other things I want more. But I love how they look. Timu, what you said sounded like Uryu, which means puke and finish. Yeah, I just yell puke and finish whilst I open my boxes. It's the way of the world, you know? Ben Walters, did you Beast Wars again? No, Beast Wars again, I'm just spectating. It all looks very pretty, but without things like unregistered SAL shipping, I feel very cut off from importing anything from Japan right now. Whilst still feeling good about it. Someone who owns a Velocitron Cosmos has baffled Walmart Canada canceled my pre-order for Toxitron. That's weird. But yeah, the Toxitron collection, I got to see some in person at TFCon, because they showed up during that. And they are gorgeous. I loved the gradient on Jazz's hood. Like, in person, that looks sick. I'm pulling these out from the back because with all the spider legs, I think I just don't want the obstructions. Oh, I saw the Grimlock at Fan Expo too. Some dealer had him like sitting up on a high shelf. Like, I always forget every year that Fan Expo also just has toy dealers selling toys. Oh, this is kind of a cool one. I saw the Cosmic Legions there. Someone had the first wave of Cosmic Legions, the sci-fi mythic legions. And I walked up to him and we had a bit of, insider talk because I used one of the... Whoa. Spider leg. It fell right... Okay, it fell on my thigh. I went to pick it up. It fell through my thigh. I went to pick it up. It fell into my crotch. I went to pick it up. It fell under my crotch. I fished it out. Tarantulas, confirmed. Pervert. Another leg fell off while I was doing all that. So I gotta put 2 of these back on. I mean, granted, if I said to you, hey, I think Tarantulas from Beast Wars is a pervert, most Transformers fans, I find, tend to go like, oh yeah. Anyway, I went up to that Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions table, and I was like, hey, y'all got Ilithia? And they were like, oh, no, dog. If you can find her, get her. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because I missed Ilithia, and I like the vampires, and I like the 4 horsemen, and she's one of the 4 horsemen, and I missed her. And now she's expensive, and I want Ilithia. I think I just want the 4 horsemen now from Mythic Legions. And I missed one of them, and it feels bad. That tracks, yeah, we remember his behavior. Number 1 Tarantulas fan can confirm. Yeah, I figured. Tarantulas toy went for your crotch as soon as you were pulling him out of the box. Average. Average Tarantulas W. This feels great. I already know this is a good toy because every time I said, man, I can't find Tarantulas, someone would go, oh, you should find him, he's great. And I'm like, I know I should find him, he's great. Tell GameStop to get him in when I have money. Damn it. But yeah, this is just, look at the little, you can get the little head tilt. You can get that little head tilt where he's like, oh, I'm a pervert. Or you can get this little head tilt where he's like kind of lurking. And he's like, oh, I am a pervert. Wait for the Takara one. No, the Takara ones are expensive. They're all so expensive. I want the one that I can buy at GameStop for $35 with 10% off before I pay 13% tax. I don't get enough freelance work in to do imports now, because imports involve the most expensive shipping all the time in Canada. Unless I've missed a really cool trick somewhere in the last couple of years. So it obliterates the feeling of like getting a hold of anything. Like the Beast Wars Again stuff looks great. It's just like I would need to have more regular work and Sal shipping again to feel like I could do them. And I have neither. Oh, he's even got backward butterfly things so he can thrust chest. I haven't even done the transforming and he looks good. Ooh. I should say, I am not trying to do passive-aggressive whining about stuff. I'm just explaining why I'm not ordering the import toys things right now. The main import thing that I'm trying to save for a little bit is the Diaclone reboot is finally doing a second colorway on the Battle Buffalo in the hero colors, and I have hero colors, Dia Battles, and Big Powered. So I'm like, I would really like to get Hero Colors Battle Buffalo. Also because that one comes with 3 female Diaclone pilots, and I don't have any female Diaclone pilots. Whoa, the arm is doing that thing again. Hang on. Work! Hey, I'm just going to pull a JoJo pose whilst I look at the chat. Hi. The Takara one for Tarantulas pulls off some really cool color tricks for show accuracy that also highlight that you can't actually pull off a fully show accurate Tarantulas because you have to pick one of those colors. It's one of the black placements. You have to pick, and it can't be both, but it has to be both for show accuracy. So I haven't transformed Black Arachnia in a while, but I'm just gonna give this the old shots. First, I want to see, can I put his weapons anywhere? Oh, okay, so they go together in a happy sort of way. Evo Fusion! So, let's get this guy going. Zero, the Battle Buffalo, I pre-ordered it on HLJ. It should be up. It's in the hero colors, the blue and red. Comes with Lady Dia pilots. Yeah, the Dionaut packs got expensive too, and it's like, man. Oh, Scorp. Yeah, I should say I know they aren't like literally retools. Just my understanding was they were similar. But then again, I never looked at how this worked. I'm gonna go full no instructions, full I don't know what I'm doing on this one. So hopefully there are no breakpoints. I already can see some funny things happening here. Whoa-hey. I like it when the head covers the head. It feels natural, it feels scientific. Oh, that's sliding together so slick and nice. Oof. Yeah, this is just coming together. Yeah, the Battle Buffalo has like just one of those inherent like just like all caps proper noun play pattern experiences going on. I don't actually know what the legs are supposed to do. But I think this can tab into there. Right, like that's seats, right? Yeah. Oh, I see a little peglet for the foot in there. Yeah. Oh. Ooh. I wonder if there is a cleaner way to do this, because I feel like I'm just stuffing it in. That's so clean! These ball sockets, some of them are real good, some of them are real ball sockets. Look at that little freak. Look at this little freak. Can I stick his gun in his bum? Is that still a thing we do? I'm gonna look up the weapons storage. Yeah, and I think Zero does put it really well. The Diaclone Reboot is like a line where, like, if you were... Obviously, there are a lot of toys where it's like, if I got these for free, I'd love them. But, like, Diaclone Reboot is a line where, like, if you just somehow were gifted Diaclone Reboot toys constantly, I think it would just be like, dang, this is hype. Dang, this is just really cool. Like, in a very specific way. Was I supposed to rotate something here? Well, is that why this looks like it's on a a setup. To store the weapons, you need to do it mid-transformation. Oh. Because on here, it's like, yeah, just stick it on his underbelly. But it's showing a... Oh, wait, I saw the wrong peg hole. Never mind. Oh, I see, though. I see. Okay. So, the one that's, like, for this... The one he actually has goes in here. That makes sense to me. Because I think I see where this is supposed to go. Yeah, like this. Okay. So that goes in there, and then the one he's not supposed to have goes here on the screw hole. Like that. Yeah, that wasn't too bad to do after the fact. I just had to kind of wedge it past his feet. Yeah, the Diaclone Reboot's... Yeah, Zero. That Diaclone Reboot's big problem is everything about the toy line is like... It's like these. It's like the Izers, where it's like, dang, this is probably even more fun if I have a few of these. And Diaclone Reboot is like that at like a beautiful high-end level, but also every toy costs like $100 or $200. And it's like, this would be really cool if you had 3 of them, and it's like... Oh no! It would be cool if I had three of them. Yes, I won't though. Oh, did I get in without moving the knee? I just kind of wedged it in there. Yeah. That's why Battle Buffalo getting hero colors kind of pumps me up, because it's like, oh, so the color-wise it'll match 2 of the other ones, and I know it has like the swappable limbs gimmick that they had early on, and so like I can do things that are fun. Anyway. Trust me, Megatron, the gun has to go up my ass. I can't do Tarantulas' voice at all. But I wish that I feel like Alec Winters might have said that line at a BotCon at some point. He got into saying some pretty fun pervy stuff. But yeah, this Tarantulas is just friggin' good. Like, holy crap. It's like, oh, when are they gonna do Masterpiece Tarantulas? And then, like, this one really just, like, came out and was like, what's a masterpiece? Eat it! I'm just good! My understanding of the Tarantulas laugh is that you have to actually do the hand thing while you do it. That's, like, actually important. That makes you gremlin out enough. I'm going to transform this back to a robot because I want to, and none of you can stop me. Seeing all the stuff for by the way, here I'll try to do it again, like whatever I just did, because I was just like, oh, like I saw this weird like peg looking pair of tabs, and I saw they matched the bulbous part here, so I just sort of stuffed it in, and that's what I did, and then I just stuffed it back out. Anyway, I saw the Transmetal Tarantulas, which looks really, really fun and neat, because there was like a video up of how it works now. And then I was like, thinking to myself how my actual favorite, and I think one of my original headcanons I ever had as a kid, is Transmetal 2 Scourge, and how I'm like, that guy is like, he's like Tarantulas' boss. And like, I know that in one of the many, many, many continuities, he ended up just being TM2 Tarantulas, but like, Transmetal 2 Scourge is like one of my absolute favorite, like, this is an obvious character who has no fiction outside of like some comic book stuff later on down the road, but none of it was like what I wanted. These ball sockets are annoying because they're not clicking in. They're holding, but they're not clicking in. It's this one. It's like it's resisting. I need to get in there. Although, the way that it's resisting also... Like, I've had joints like this on Transformers where after exposure to air for a while, they just work. So I'll check it later on. I'll check it later on. But yeah, Transmetal 2 Scourge is one of my absolute favorites. And I really wish that, you know, the culture was kind to him. Is this a thing, by the way? Is this... Oh, no, wait. Here we go. I was about to say, is this a thing? Then I realized that these are his pecs. So never mind. But yeah, TM2 Scourge, I'm like, I want to see a high-end... I want to see a Transart version of him, but there's no show accuracy to be accurate with him, so I'm like, do they even have the interest? I did that all off here, by the way. I'm gonna activate my '08 YouTuber senses. So you come in here, and we unleash the head. I'm gonna rotate this around. You get that tab up into that slot, if you know what I mean. Have I seen Studio Series 86 Braun? I saw one at Fanexpo. If he's still there tomorrow, I might get him, but I had that thing where I was like, oh, I want it, but like I shouldn't buy this right now. So I'm like, I'm going to just see if someone else buys it. And if no one else buys it, then maybe it's meant to be. I have been told, however, that he is a really, really good little toy. And that I would probably really like him. So I would like to pick one up still at some point. Yeah, I don't want to... I want the weapons uncombined so he can bend his elbow, please. Richard Reyes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's my birthday in some time zones now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, we've versioned up again. My shoulder hurts. Thank you, Sideswipe Prime 606. That is very kind. Yeah, I went on about this earlier in the stream, but my my approach to birthdays is always basically I consider there to be like a 4-week window in either direction of when you can celebrate it with someone, because you can't get everyone together for one day. It's impossible. So just take all the stress out of it and go like, just whenever you wanna, whenever you can, let's hang out, let's do something. If you want to get me a thing, that's cool. If you don't want to get me a thing, I don't mind either. If you want to just buy me a Coke Zero, I'm happy. Let's just meet up and have food somewhere and enjoy each other's selves as people. Let's not worry about doing it all on the specific day. Because, for instance, what if you're working that day, or what if you have a media pass to Fanexpo that day and you want to go and actually make use of it to film footage of things? Oh, Daniel, thank you very much. Yes, please send the requisite zeet. Calvin J, thank you for watching from the Philippines, and thank you for the kind words. Timu, thank you very much. Face, yeah, I'll see you in 30-ish days. That's fine. That's in the window. It's in the window. It's Tarantulas versus Spider-Man. Who would win? Spider-Man. Spider-Man always wins. I sound like a little kid. Spider-Man always wins! Yeah, August birthdays, right? August birthdays. Why will you not buy me a Coke Zero? Well, it's not theoretical. No. It's not about theoretical numbers. It's not about that. It's a celebration of me, the person. That's all I'm celebrating, in the least egotistical way possible. I am simply celebrating myself as being very cool. Spider-Man always wins. Insert Kamala joke here. Is that too soon? Is that a too soon thing? Is that comic even out yet? Because that got leaked, right? Is she alive? I thought I saw scans of an X-Men book with her talking about being a mutant now or something. I don't know. I think it was Nash was tweeting about how there's an X-Men event where like they got one of those artists in who's like, I can draw so much gore for you, and they're like, all right. And so of course they got the sicko in me curious, like I want to go see Marvel Comics official gore. And then I saw Kamala was floating around. I was like, they aren't about to friggin' gore kill Kamala again, are they? But it doesn't look like they did. Alright, take it easy, face. Sam, thank you for that super chat. I can use that for Coke Zero purposes, in fact. That also green screened out on the OBS capture, which looks real funky. But yeah, thank you very much. I will buy a Coke Zero with that. Specifically. But yeah, that whole thing, the fall of the men. Am I getting future YOLO Park figures? Hopefully, yeah. Ideally, they'll send me more review samples, because that would be cool. I don't know if they will. I still got to do a review for the Bumblebee. If they don't, I'm still going to probably try to pick up the Scourge down the road, because they seem to be very affordable. Yeah, the super chat was like, it's a void. It's straight up, it's cutting right through the... am I done fan expoing? Or I'm gonna go all 4 days off and on. Basically, this thing, I applied for a media pass and they gave me one, so I have access all 4 days. My usual approach to fan expo is like, I would just get a 4-day pass, because I'm not really, like, hung up on anything specifically that's in there. I just like to cruise around, especially with friends, and so I would just ask anyone who's going. I'd be like, what days are you going? I'll go hang out with you. And then usually it was, like, people spread across 3 or 4 days, so I would just get the 4-day. Because I can, like, on a good day, I can walk there and walk home. So, like... I'm not sure what because I got a media pass, so I feel like I have to film stuff. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna film, other than just a bunch of silly vlog footage. That's my whole goal, is just make a silly vlog. Because, like, I can tell you, me and that toy guy, we walked around the corporate hall twice, trying to find the Hasbro booth. Because when we finally found it, it was literally a tiny booth with 2 little display cases full of toys that I think are all out now, and then, like, 3 HasLab things they're raffling with a QR code. And that was it. So I don't know, man. Like, especially if, like, when the application, like, you put in there, like, hi, I do a bunch of toy stuff, specifically about Transformers. Like, okay, you're in. And you go in there, and it's, like, the best... The primo media to create is taking photos of that really silly Blitzwing in his silly gremlin mistransformation, and it's like, okay, we did it. Are we done, I guess? Are there any exclusives there? No, not for Transformers. They aren't even selling anything at the Hasbro booth. Like, you can't buy anything there. You can just enter a raffle for some HasLab stuff, so I did, because I'm a freak. Oh, Rich, so you're coming into you're doing like the autograph photo op thing, because that is have you done that before at Fan Expo? Because it is sort of like a separate thing. Like, you got to kind of get fed into kind of a conveyor belt sort of, and then you get spat out the other end. That Blitzwing looks even funnier in person, and I can't capture it. I've tried. Like, the photos don't do justice to that mistransformation. Zero, thank you for that super chat too. I'm gonna take it out of the void and spend it on Coke Zero. Blitzwing, you see him on shelves. I think Blitzwing is good. I think the Blitzwing is disappointing in places, but I have fun transforming him from mode to mode to mode, and in that sense, I quite dig him. I went into Blitzwing very much an actual champion of the big silly hands. And the big silly hands are the worst, objectively speaking. Objectively is not the right word, because there are no objective statements in this stuff. But with no emotion, right, involved, the hands are the worst part, because the peg tolerances are all over the place, and the knuckle on one of mine cracked as soon as I bent it, and I found out that's not an uncommon thing. So, like, these things that already most people were kind of dumping on, and I was like, hey, I singularly am one of the champions of these funny little hands. Then they were, like, the worst part of the experience for me, so I had to put them to the side for, like, 3 days, and then come back to him and ignore the hands, and then I had more fun. And that sort of sucks to say, because I was actually kind of hyped for the hands. But as just a Blitzwing toy, I think that he's pretty good. You know, he's 3 solid transformations. The 3 modes I think are fine. I don't mind the Blitz bump. But there are plenty of reasons to be put off him if any of those things kind of just make you go, ugh, you know? But I think that the best thing to say about a Blitzwing, right, is that transforming him is fun, and I think transforming him is fun, myself. Yeah, he's like, the worst part about him is that he's leader class, and I don't think he fits into whatever Voyager is now, but it's a shame that the big fun hands, which helped make him leader class, in my opinion at least, like, and on my copy, turned out so poorly. HasLab Blu-ray discs would be interesting. Am I interested in all the Trumpeter kits? Yeah, I just never see them when I have cash. They look like they're pretty fun. I haven't heard anything bad about them. I want to get the Shatter and Dropkick if they did them or are still doing them. I think they're doing them? I don't know. Yeah, Blitzwing's leader, because basically Blitzwing is leader partly just because he's big. He's very, very massful, and he's got like a lot of moving parts. So, with the way that the economics of the mass production of collectibles has shifted in the last 10 years, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's annoying, but it's fine. I wish that the funny hands were better. Oh, New Sam, you got Trumpeter RC and she's a good build. That's good to know. Ah, my elbow hurts a lot all of a sudden. I gotta lean on it. No, I gotta lean on this one. Ah, hi, what's going on? Hey there. Have you considered the ramifications of your actions, champ? Yeah, and then like for what the funny hands do, it also feels like design-wise they aren't sure how much they want to be funny hands and how much they want to be able to be other things. And yeah, it's just kind of like, man, go for it, you know? I don't got withdrawal. I still got some Coke Zero here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's everything's more expensive, but like it's not just Transformers, right? It's a hard conversation to have because like as a crit, right? As a bullet-pointed crit, it's valid. It's completely valid. We're all poorer and everything's more expensive. But then it's basically like we're all poorer and everything's more expensive. So like at a certain point, like it's, how do you put this? It's a critique I don't really have the energy to put a lot of power behind, because it's like it's everywhere. All my board games are more expensive. All my food is more expensive. So like collectibles and hobby stuff, it's also more expensive. Like, I'm also the one, right, where it's like, hey, are you importing this thing? And I'm like, no, because there's no registered or unregistered SAL shipping. So, you know, shipping is now globally and to and from Canada is generally double digits no matter what. Within Canada, it's double digits. Yet, I still cling to the notion of 800 yen shipping being the linchpin on whether or not I order a thing. And it's like, that's my little irrational thing, right? So, who am I to complain? Or to poke at it, right? Yeah, and I really want to make it clear though, like I'm not trying to invalidate it as a critique, because it's kind of like I'm not going to be there like, yeah, everything's more expensive. Suck it up, save up your save up your lunch money, nerd. If you really cared about the brand. It's just like, I don't think there's like a lengthy talking point to make about it, because like the lengthy talking point is going to expand well beyond the scope of like the hobby itself. What do you think about Shinkocho Seiho Faiz? I'm angry about what they're doing with his shoulder pads. Or wait, when you say SS Faiz, do you mean Shinkocho Seiho, or do you mean an abbreviation for something from that movie they're doing? Because I have not kept up with it super well. So I want to make sure I'm on the right track. Do you think we're gonna get Earthspark Tarantulas such that... Before I finish that, I don't think we're gonna get Earthspark Tarantulas. I want us to, but I don't think we're gonna. It kind of bums me out, but I don't think we're gonna. I can't see my mic level, so if I'm leaning in like this, I want to keep an eye on that. Okay, Shinkocho Seiho. I haven't seen how the shoulders work on him. Is he out? Did he come out a while? I've lost track of SH Fig Arts. Entirely. In one of the many Walmart computer leak lists, I think there's a deluxe jaw... No, there's a... Is there a deluxe jawbreaker in there? I think there is. Because I think I read a TFW reply saying, damn, I wish I'd known before I got the Warrior. Okay, Shinkocho Seiho 5 just came out. I haven't seen how the shoulders work then. That's annoying, though, if the shoulders are doing something off-kilter. Because I've already not bought Shinkocho Seihos for having rubber parts. Never mind, I'm all good. I have been serviced. Okay. Yeah, Thrash was the other one. Right. And yeah, there's a deluxe Prowl, which makes... you look at that, right? And you're like, oh, deluxe Earthspark Prowl. Famous Prowl from Earthspark. Wonder if that's going to be deluxe Cyberverse Prowl from famous Prowl from Cyberverse. Guy who did not deserve a deluxe, getting forwarded to another line where he didn't even show up in the show! I know he's probably in there somewhere, but like, boy howdy. Yeah, I've kind of written off hashtag going anywhere above maybe a Warrior or Ultra. She might get an Ultra, but like the nature of her alt mode makes me think she might be like a Shadow Striker Ultra, where it's like, I'm sad that this is the toy. And yeah, maybe Prowl's in Season 2. Like, I could just be being mean. Ever since I saw the Starscream Deluxe, whenever I see a name that had a Cyberverse Deluxe, I'm always like, oh, famous that one, huh? Getting a Halloween costume put on a... Woohoo. Woohoo. I think it's also just like, how do you put this? In the Hasbro Corporation's greater vision, what is a kid's Transformers line? Like there you don't have the direct connection anymore between the shows being developed and the main design team, who is the only design team, because now we have the design team, and then we also have this other design team, and then we sometimes have this third design team, and you know, it's there. You don't have like in and this is really dating myself, right? But you don't have like in animated, when there was this direct through line of literally Cartoon Network and Derek Wyatt and Eric Siebenahler are all sitting in a room together at one point, right? Like that just doesn't exist anymore. Oh no, there's photos of the deluxe Earthspark Starscream. He is the deluxe Cyberverse Starscream painted in the Earthspark color palette. It looks like a Halloween costume. Like, nothing looks the same, but all the colors are in the same spots. Okay, the Shinkocho Seiho 5 shoulder pads are attached to torso with bendable plastic to be accurate. And if they get deformed from posing, put them back in the box. That's a bummer. I know exactly what... Because that is a worse version of the Joy Toy Space Marine shoulder pads. Because these ones are very similar. I'm just going to show you. Because you can do this with these. So the way they do the shoulder pads on here is just a flexible thing that slides over the shoulder peg. It works, but it greatly limits the range on the shoulders. And also, much like Yamato and Arcadia, Joy Toy modify the durometers and tolerances and all this stuff from release to release to release to get slightly more range with every subsequent release. So when there are a bajillion Space Marines coming out, this design is like, okay, it's fine. Like, eventually they'll do it in a way I really like on a Space Marine I like or whatever. But, like, on Shinkocho Seiho Fies, the one and only Master Fies that they will ever do, you kind of hope they'd one and done it, right? Anyway, that's a Joy Toy guy as well, by the way. That's him next to a Deluxe. Look at their friends. Boyfriends! Which one's the himbo? Yeah, the thing about the rubber is, like, you don't really know. The upside is we know how to moisturize rubbers now, and I think that if that kind of design breaks, that feels like something where a user solution could be developed using fabrics. Oh, there's no bracket, you just start bending the thing. That feels bad. That feels bad to me in my brain. Tarantulas is the top, no question. I mean, what? Yeah, true. I'm catching up on what was written in here. Don't talk about moisture in front of tarantulas. He's going to make it weird. Sorry, I'm already making it weird. We had my favorite comment we ever received on the podcast lately is Vangelis seems to organize all Transformers now into two categories of boyfriends and himbos, and I was like, it's true though. I don't think I'm wrong. You are correct, and also I think I'm right. But yeah, the Shinkocho Seiho, like, Kamen Rider Black, the thing that actually put me off was, like, when it's like, oh, and sometimes those shoulders are just cracking out of the package, so we got something wrong. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that happens, but, like, Shinkocho Seiho is basically at the tier that Hot Toys and 112 and a lot of your 6-inch figure or up is 3 digits when it comes out. Like, they're at a tier now, right? Where, like, any reports of that on an import piece really makes me chew on my knuckle a little bit. Like, I don't know if I want to be stressed about spending on a leisure item, right? And yeah, it's not all of them out of the package. It's just some of them out of the package, right? And when it's some of them out of the package, I don't know. I don't want to have to think about it. You can moisturize rubber. PVC, I'm less certain about. With rubber, you just need some of that Gummipflegestift. I got one up here still. Yeah, this one here. This is for moisturizing car seats, but it also moisturizes soft rubber parts on toys pretty well, like tires and treads and things. Just get you some Gummipflegestift. I don't know why they sell it in German on Amazon, but it's the one I saw. This translates run Gummipflegestift through a Google Translate. There's a video on YouTube about this with a very well-meaning toy enthusiast who has a very American accent who keeps calling it Gummipflegestift. And as a partially German person, it made me very entertained to listen to, and then I felt very guilty afterwards because it's like, you know, I get American words wrong sometimes, so I shouldn't be laughing at that, but also Gummipflegestift is really a really funny way to pronounce that to me. You can't have cracked shoulders when you buy a Black Sun instead. That's Galaxy Brain thinking. Yeah, that's the thing, is like the Mezco approach doesn't even bug me that much because, like, I feel like they are trying to do something. The Hot Toys seamless approach, to me, there is an inherent cynicism because I feel like Hot Toys has a cynicism about their craft where it doesn't matter if the seamless body will shred over time because the people who buy it are going to take their photos and put it on a shelf. So who cares? Like, and that's obviously not something I know. It's just like it's a flavor I get in the air. You know, it's like if I were a snake and I tasted the air with my tongue, that is what I taste around a lot of Hot Toys seamless designs. And also, yeah, Wheeljack, like, and there are Hot Toys collectors who affirm that they want the seamless body. So it's like, okay, well, you make stuff for your customers and they want that, you make it for them, it's a win-win, I guess. But, Piggy Peas, I'll never stop making fun of my cousin for pronouncing Vicar like Vicar! I want to go to the Vicar! I don't even know. When would I use Vicar in a daily conversation? I don't think I ever say Vicar. Did you see how they reacted to Hot Toys Spider-Man 2099? No, I did not. Yeah, it's Alan Weaver. It's like a specific thing for me in German because, like, in my life experience, so few people have cared to learn how to say German words that, like, whenever I hit ones like that, it always makes me sit there and go like, and then I'm like, wow, I'm a jerk, and I feel bad afterwards. It was like after a whole high school upbringing of people saying, wow, do you like Rammstein? And then I was always like, but that's not how you say it. I forgot there was a Hot Toys Optimus Prime. Oh, they were upset it had visible joints like an SHF, so Hot Toys redesigned it to have a cloth suit. I think I might have heard about that. Thing is, to me, a cloth suit versus rubberized seamless are still two different enough categories where it's like, a cloth suit wearing down, though, like, at least there's, like, a certain realism to it, whereas, like, someone's own flesh elbow wearing down light clothing has an uncanny valley sense to it. Did Hot Toys do a movie Prime? I remember the G1 Optimus because it was really odd. Oh, sorry, Alan, in their native language, like Vicar, not like Schreibmaschine or Krankenwagen. Krankenwagen is fun to say. Masterman, I did see the 3-0 Cobra Commander and the Destro. Those things look sick. But I'm also really biased because I just think Cobra Commander and Destro are like good designs, like good evergreen designs just in general. They are... Someone did a good job drawing those two. Do you think 3-0 will get to Shatter and Dropkick, or is that ship sailed? My best answer is I don't think they'll get to them, and also I don't think the ship has sailed, if that makes sense. I think the opportunity still exists, but I don't think they will, which makes me sad. Because, there was the Hot Toys G1 Prime who had the Starscream head that he could also just hold as though he ripped Starscream's head off, and it was kind of like, why? I would like someone to give me Mezco Destro, because he also looks sick. I think the Mezco Power Rangers look really good. They're just in that tier of, like, I don't know when I would ever be able to plunk money on a bunch of high-end Power Rangers. I don't know if I like Power Rangers enough to buy the high-end ones, but I think they look really good. Zero, your pediatrician was Dr. Romenstein. I hope he was cool about it. Oh, I haven't kept up with any of the actual human-y head sculpt. Oh! I'm thinking of the 3-0 Power Rangers. I have not... I think the Mezco ones look pretty cool, too, but the 3-0 ones I always think of first, because they actually came out and are apparently pretty good. I mix them up so badly. When I only see them in photos by themselves, I can't tell them apart because they are the same characters, but one is 6 inches and one is 12 inches. I'll take it easy, Matt R75. Oh, this shoulder is annoying. I'm really sure it's a nerve thing, because when I move it and do things, it starts feeling better, as though it stopped pinching things. If only there were some kind of an industry of people with a very specific expertise in the realm of specifically off-kilter joints and muscles and things, and their whole job was to assess those situations and also cure those ailments at times through things like massage or other therapies. If only an industry existed like that. It's a shame it doesn't. Guess I better start it myself. Bonktacular Productions. Hello, I opened a pair of toys. Now I'm just kind of chilling. I'm keeping the toys front and center because if I feel like I'm grabbing something to put here, it's easier. I wish I could get this to illuminate them better without setting my camera shot on fire. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's a massage. Is that, how did you guys find out about the word I invented for it? Don't steal that. I mailed it to myself already. Dynamo Dave, is there any interest in the chat on that giant Super 7 Thundercats lair? I want to see them actually produce that. I don't know who... So, my least favorite reaction to the release of a pop culture toy item is I don't know who that's for, because I can figure out who that's for usually. But the sheer breadth of the Super 7 Lair of the Thundercats draws out of me and I don't know who that's for. Because I feel like I saw Thundercats Hardcore saying, no, wait, that's too big. Because it's gigantic. Does it have an actual electronic screen in it, or was that just a really well-executed gimmick that made me think it had one in a photo? Oh, Daniel, you had a pinched nerve too. Yeah, it's so annoying. Because I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. So it's not fair that my shoulder doesn't hurt. I'm gonna send a letter to the GM. Okay, it was the screen was a lenticular sticker or something. Yeah, that makes sense. What else did I do? I can show you some of the painting I've been doing recently too, because that's all happening right here on the station. So I painted a big model. I haven't done a big model in a while. So this goes with tarantulas pretty well. This is what's the stupid Warhammer words? This is this is my big gun on legs. I still got to top coat it, but I want to light this without blowing out that shot. I was happy I did some more highlighting on the base, so the base has a little bit more volume. And I was able to settle in my color palette of my natural inclination, because I prefer green to yellow, and I don't actually like the color yellow very much, but I was like, Necrons and green is like always everywhere, so I'm trying to save the green for just little details and make orangey yellow the main detail color. And then there, the orb in there, that's a two-tone Turbo Dork paint, so you can't see it very well, but it kind of is both blue and purple, and it kind of glitters a bit. I was happy with that. Daniel, I was having fun and I got punished for it. Yeah, I screwed up! And it's not fair. And we... I think it should be banned, getting punished for having fun. So if this was karmic shoulder agony, you would roll over and accept divine punishment. Precisely! But I've never done anything wrong in my entire life, so I don't deserve anything bad to ever happen to me. Clearly, I don't deserve pain. Pain should be banned from happening to me. New Sam, you have nerve damage from 12 years ago that makes your elbows hate you from time to time. Yeah. I mean, I do notice, like I said earlier in this, when I was oversharing when I started off, one of my one of my very regular like panic anxiety reactions is like the tightening of a lot of the flesh around my left shoulder blade into like a fist, which is really annoying. Apparently that mech is hella OP in game. From what I've read, it's pretty good, but you want like 2 or 3 of them, and that's not on the cards right now. I want to finish painting what I got. Also, what I'm working on right now is these death marks. What I've had for 5 years, so I figured out a color scheme on this one, and I'm applying it to the other 4 now. And this is where I've got some greens, some very cold metallic greens for all the little balls on his back and the little ball, his sniper rifle testicles, because they're full of energies. So this is like one of the ones in progress. This one's in the really cool pose that I smashed together. These death marks, legendarily, their arms don't actually work very well for poses the way they're sculpted, so I did a lot of BSing in the shoulder to get him to actually be doing this. Take it easy, Ben. Walters, Ben. Take it easy, Walters, Ben. Daniel says, the screen in the cat's lair is interchangeable. Okay, okay. That's right, Richard. Hobby streak! Tree Stump, is that Warhammer Joy Toy in the background? Yes. Problems happened, and I have those now. The Tech Marine, actually, I only have him because I got friends into the idea of these at TFCon, and they wanted to do a group buy because TF Source apparently actually accidentally brought all their Joy Toy stuff and didn't want to take it all home. So I got a decent little discount on this guy by joining the group buy at the show. And it's a cool figure. The only thing I don't like is he does a bendy wire for this thing, and, you know, speaking of seamless joint systems, right? Bendy wires are like the original seamless joint system that just dies eventually, and so I don't really like those that much, but everything else on him is really cool. And he's got like an alternate head with another unique helmet sculpt, but this one's got a pretty cool, like, spray-apt glow on his eyeball, the robot eyeball. And I read, Timo Kananen is exposing me here. I read that his funny gun here isn't a plasma gun, it's like some kind of teleport gun. He also has a funny robot arm. The trick with Joy Toy, what I did is that, so here's a perfect example, right? So this guy here, right? This is from a wave of 4 Blood Angels who, because they share kind of 2 figures worth of buck parts, this one is like 40 Canadian dollars. This for 40 Canadian with all the spare parts he comes with, or even more so, right? The boyfriend I got for him, this one who comes with like a cup and like a spare helmet. Like these were each like 40, either 38 or 40 Canadian. Excellent. Almost identical looking figures with almost identical accessory loadouts who have slightly more unique belt parts or things are like 80? So if you can just get at one of these Space Marines for like, you know, 35 or 40 Canadian, boy howdy. Excellent. Beautiful little action figures. It's just really, you have to get over and process that you will see illogically priced Space Marines all over the place. It teleports a big bullet into your face. Ah, yes. But yeah, then this got worse because when I went to the place that sold them with all my friends, they got in one of the ones I really wanted. So I spent some TFCon money because I really wanted this one. Because look at it. Look at it! This thing's so friggin' cool. And this thing is like highlighting a lot of Joy Toy's other strengths, like the hinge joints are built out of like a whole ton of actual like that's just die cast, and for hinges, so they're like very, very solidly built, and they have like a tightenable screw, right? So this is just a cool robot suit with a nun inside, and then the nun is like posable in the neck and the arms to like match the movements that these arms are doing. and is so friggin' neat, and she's got like a spare head. And then I was like, well, I got a cool nun in a robot suit, so I need like her cool nun boss, right? So that I have one who's not in a robot suit, so I know what they look like. And then this is an actual human scale, because these are at G.I. Joe scale, but a Space Marine at G.I. Joe scale is really big, so I was like, well, now I got a normal human at G.I. Joe scale from them as well. Ah ha 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 ha. Anyway, it's a problem. Because eventually, where are you? Eventually, you're like, I really like Necrons. I should check out like one of the Necrons too, because they're also like at Joe scale, but they're an alien, but they're not a Space Marine. Anyway, QC problems galore on these two. He has 2 copies of one of his spare hands, and these. So the Space Marines, when you swap their arms, right? This is another beautiful part about them. It's just a barbell, like a double-balled ball joint. You just pop off a big old ball and pop it back on, and oh, it's so solid and sturdy. The Necrons and the Sisters have teeny tiny Figma-style, SH Figart-style wrists, where when you pull them out, on her, one of her wrists literally was just already breaking apart when I pulled it out. Thankfully, the dupe hand I got with this Necron has the same size wrist joint, so I transplanted it. But, like, these got very NECA for me, of like, oh, all you have to do is have a hairdryer or boiling water whenever you want to do a hand swap. And this might just be my immature brain, but I'm like, with my leisure collectible action figures, I don't want to have to prepare a hairdryer or hot water to just swap the hands, because I want to swap the hands a bunch. So, that was the thing. It's a shame, because otherwise, the Sisters are pretty darn cool. Like, still really posable, considering that they're covered in a bunch of junk. Like, they're very Storm Collectibles-esque in that, like, they have soft durometer cloths all over them. But they're very good at just getting out of the way. And they pose solidly. The Space Marines even more so. Like, when you pose these Space Marines, they have articulation limitations, but also, those limitations I've found never really got in the way of what I want them to do. Like, everywhere that they're limited, it feels realistic from the weight, the visual weight of their armor, so it's very cool toys. But the Space Marines are by far the most durable ones I've handled, and the Sisters were a, like, very sharp return to, like, my old experience with Haya toys, with their old alien, and how I went through 3 of them, because the elbows kept self-immolating. This one, though, this the nun in the robot suit, I would just call that worth it. Like, just if you think this looks cool, they got 3 different colorways. I think this is the cool colorway. She got a double heat gun for an arm, and just a friggin' giant sword for the other arm. And she's got a head swap if you don't want the helmet head, so you can have like an unhelmeted head there, which looks pretty cool. But yeah, as I was exposed before, I can't believe those guys who buy those Joy Toy Warhammers. Yeah, I got those. I only bought a couple, though. There are people who quintuple buy these things, and I don't understand how you can enjoy them if you quintuple buy them. Because there's people who are like, I'm collecting my 2,000 point army again as Joy Toy figures, and it's like, dog! Each one of those, they're just chilling behind 18 of the other ones. I don't know. But yeah, the scale is G.I. Joe scale, but some of them, if you just pretend they don't have a scale, like Commander Shadow Sun from the Tau, or this one, right? Put it next to a deluxe. It's like you can also just pretend it's a 6-inch figure with a tiny person inside, I guess. or you can pretend that the Space Marines are just very slightly short 6-inch scale people. Yeah, $1 per point, right? But yeah, the thing about Joy Toy that I learned fourth hand, so take this as a grain of salt, and this might not be the truth, but this is something I heard, is Joy Toy is just run by a very rich person who really likes Warhammer. And so a lot of the decisions of what gets made as Joy Toy Warhammer figures is based on what the owner of Joy Toy has as armies that he's collecting. So that's why when they got the Infinity license, the first thing they were putting out was stuff from Ariadna, because I suspect it's just because the Joy Toy guy collects Ariadna primarily. So that sort of explains some of the weirdnesses about the decisions that Joy Toy makes in what they actually release. And then as time went on, I feel like they were both informed and probably requested, like, hey, now that you've developed Space Marine bodies, what if you make more chapters, though? What if you make a bunch of just chapters and chapter masters and Primarchs, please? I do think some of the Primarch figures look and chapter masters look cool. Like, I would say with Joy Toy, you try to get the cheap ones, or also like the cheap ones and or the name character ones who are one-offs, because like they got, what is the Ravenwing? Is it chapter master, the dude with the friggin' like crow exoskeleton? Like, that's probably going to be a good figure. It was initially red and blue and yellow guys, I think. I think it was Ultramarines up front, though. Like almost everything was Ultramarines up front. They are doing a Dread Knight Terminator, which looks really cool. So it's like this thing. It's like a Grey Knight guy in Terminator armor, which is even bulkier than the Space Marines. And then he has an entire one of these robot suits, but sized for him, so it's like almost a foot tall. And then they just put a AA powered spinning motor into the Gatling gun. So that one looks like it could be pretty fun. It's gigantic. And they're doing a Chaos Space Marine Sorcerer. The thing about Chaos is all the new ones they're doing are red. They're like one of the red-colored factions. So to me, they look too much like these. And I'm like, why did you stop doing Black Legion? Because you could just do black and silver gold Chaos dudes to start off. And you did, but then they modded the Space Marine bodies, but they haven't modded the Chaos bodies the same way, but they've apparently still been tweaking them. So I'm like, I want tweaked Chaos bodies, but in colors I like more than just red. And these are my first world problems. And this is all going around the part where it's also like, I go through these mental conversations, and then I arrive at the final point where it's like, also I can maybe afford one once in a while. Anyway, that's a hell of a tangent. I was trying to think if there's anything else around here that I can show you. Because like my TF Con Hall stuff is not really near me. Have I watched the new Ahsoka show? No, I haven't. I was just telling that toy guy about this. I have an incredibly specific thing with live-action Star Wars, where I have to wait for the show to end, and I have to ask for a very specific spoiler before I want to watch them. It's my problem. It's not Star Wars' problem, I guess. It's my problem with Star Wars, but demonstrably it's also really just my problem. Yeah, well, in some of the Chaos Marine figures, like, they got, like, pikes full of skulls on them as the unique parts from figure to figure that they kind of swap around modularly. So it's like, oh, this spike has human skulls, but this spike's got a Space Marine helmet skull. And this guy's got a funny face. I did not know Marvel was doing new omnibusi for Micronauts and ROM. I don't have anywhere to put them, so I'm probably not going to get them myself, but I'm happy that they're putting stuff back out in print in general. But I'll reveal my Star Wars secret. So when a Star Wars show comes, so my first secret is one I can just get over, which is generally I actually feel like I enjoy Star Wars more when it's cartoons, and I haven't watched Clone Wars. I've only really watched Rebels and like one season of Bad Batch and some clips of Clone Wars. But I feel like I click with Star Wars better when it's either serialized TV and or cartoons, as opposed to live action films that are feature films that are event movies. My other thing, and this is the specific one, is when a Star Wars show ends, I say, okay, so did they have a fun robot? And usually it's like, yes. And it's like, okay, is the fun robot alive? And many times I get this look of like, well, it was a good episode. I'm like, yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool, though. I just wanted to know that. And then usually I just don't watch it. I have this thing where, like, I'm tired of the robot story arc for droids in Star Wars. And I know that in 2 shows now, they have evolved past my problems with robots in Star Wars. But I haven't had the energy built up yet to want to really dive in. But that is my funny Star Wars thing. Do I have hi Gabe VJ? Do I have thoughts on the Studio Series Ultra Magnus? I think that it looks like a fun toy, especially with like the Combiner Wars style click things for the limbs. I like seeing that come back again. He is very wide, and that doesn't really bug me. But like if it's off-putting, it's like it's completely valid, and like you look at him and you're like, yeah, he is wide. But I also do like that they are still doing Ultra Magnuses who are not a white Optimus getting armored up. There's nothing wrong with that, but I am always way more interested in an Ultra Magnus who just turns from that vehicle into that robot. It's like it's moved into the elbow where the anger pulse is like starting to move down here, going like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm sitting in a chair, bro. It's like, why are you sitting in a chair? You're not using your elbow to do that. Like, yeah, you're right. Yes, you got me, elbow. I'm not using you to sit in a chair. But yeah, the Studio Series Ultra Magnus looks pretty neat. I didn't really look into how it transforms. In my brain, it's not coming out for a long time. But, you know, who knows anymore? Trashmaster just came out. I thought he was coming out in, like, 2 months. Do you think we'll get 86 Optimus or Megatron? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we will. If they're actually sticking out 86 like this, I think they're gonna try to figure out how to do them. I know, well, there was like an 86 Optimus floating around in one of the bajillion leak lists, right? So, I'm pretty sure that is on a to-do list. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Trashmaster, that whole wave is out. Trashmaster, Shadow Striker, Strong Arm, that wave is out. I was kind of thinking I'd have another month to, like, you know, not think about buying them at my leisure. Yeah, I thought they said November too. Like, it's, you know, it's cool because if they came out early and you were all ready and set, it's like, hey, yeah, toys out early. But like in my case, I'm like, I was kind of logisticking around them being out in November, though. I hope they are still there in November. Because it feels like sometimes the windows close. But I have whole panels about this. I haven't edited the one from this TFCon Toronto yet, but like, there's a phrase I've arrived upon, which is like, how do you put this? My toy collecting should always be in service of me. And if I feel that I'm starting to act in service of pursuing the toys and it feels like they are not in service of me when they come out, I'm trying to just go like, well, I'm not buying them if it's not in service of me. I'll buy them when I feel like it'll make me feel good. Not when I feel like I have to, otherwise it'll disappear. It's like, that's not in service of me. And that's a mindset I'm trying to apply to like hobbies and collecting in general, is like, it's got to be in service of me, basically. Because like, end of the day, who is the most important person in the world? Me, or in your case, you. And so your fun hobby needs to prioritize being fun for you. And you know, and your interplay with that hobby, as it is obviously out of your control how that hobby manifests in the real world, I feel needs to, the one needs to always every now and then have a little diagnostic sesh and go like, hey, is this all still in service of me? And if I feel it is not, what can I tweak to readjust to keep things in service of me? So that's kind of my approach to a lot of that stuff right now. Because otherwise I think genuinely you'll go nuts. Like, there is a way to not go nuts, but that is that Transformers mainline specifically becomes your one and only hobby, for which you just perpetually keep the next announced wave of toys on hand, ready to go at all times. Which is not an unfeasible thing, but I think that borders into this is no longer in service of me. It's like, okay, I want, let's say, like, okay, next wave is coming out, they just announced, I think I want about $200 worth out of that wave. It's like, okay, so I will take these $200 and put them here, and this will be for whenever it comes out, as opposed to like, oh, I'll have $200, I'll set that aside in November when those come out. Instead, it's like, you keep your money in its, for hypothetical releases ready at all times, and I'm like, this feels inherently more stressful, and I don't think that is helpful in ensuring that my hobby is in service of me. So that's one of my phrases that I'm repeating in my head a lot. And ideally, maybe it's a helpful phrase for you. If it's not, then whatever, it's fine. It doesn't have to be. My phrase is also, at the end of the day, should only be in service to you in your own perceived reality. This panel, by the way, went into multiple timeline theory with lots of spirograph images, so hopefully you have fun when you watch it. I have to cut it together still. Also, I just realized this chat window, even though I said that it should be all chat, it's in top chat. I'm just gonna tweak this to live chat. Thank you. I don't think that makes any differences, but it was... I hate it when it's like... I always feel like it's going to hide one person's chat things, and it's going to be someone who's nice and not being a freak, and I'm like, I don't like that it algorithmically might be hiding nice people, so... Sideswipe Prime, I'm somewhat guilty of that. I'm trying not to spend money because I have RioBot. Oh, yeah. A RioBot on pre-orders, and it's yeah. I mean, at least with RioBots, right? My understanding is those tend to still have kind of a release date where it will only be delayed. With Transformers, we now have this thing where it's like, we have announced whole new wave of toys, street date, pre-order shipping dates, November, and then halfway through August. Surprise, it's out! You ready? Are you ready? And it's like, dog, what? No! No, I am not ready! Dynamo Dave, I successfully did not purchase the Diaclone Grandion Super Base thing. Siblings! Siblings in inaction! I want... let's tell each other how cool we are. On the bright side, it's not Macross Toys. Shades. Oh. True. I saw apparently the I always get the numbers wrong. The 171 Nightmare Valkyrie is getting a reissue. And so I was like, oh, that one looks neat. And then people told me to never buy it. And I checked some of the conversations, and it was like, they have specifically not said they are fixing the part that shatters. And I was like, oh, continue to not buy it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I don't want to cross into the realm of, like, you can't possibly save up for these things. Because it's like, well, you can. But I just think pre-saving for hypothetical months shifted in advance shipping dates and etc. Like, to me, it just feels really stressful, and I don't like that, because that affects how I enjoy the figures I get. Because if I'm stressed out about them when they get here, I'm going to be like, all right, is it okay? Thank God this is over. Thank God it's over, and I have the thing, and I now never have to think about getting the thing. Because it's like, I don't want to feel that way about my fun toys I enjoy. One day I'll have a YF-29. Yeah, the 29 is fine, right? Like, that one doesn't explode. That one just has kind of like, it's not as good as the 31 or whatever. I'm a 31 stan. I love me my 31s. But yeah, like, what was it? Like, Nemesis is out now too, and I'm like, Imagine if I had actually really gone gung-ho on, like, pre-ordering things where it's like, Nemesis is out, $300 down, and then within spitting distance of that, they're like, hey, that thing you thought was gonna come out in, like, 2 or 3 months from now is out now, too! You ready? I'm like, no, dog, I just bought Nemesis! I just bought that worth of the thing you said was coming out now! I haven't bought either, so, just to make it clear. But, and I do want to get Nemesis, because I've talked to friends who have Nemesis, and that specifically sounds like a toy I will really like. But yeah, it's so complicated now, because safety pre-orders have now become like revolver spins of a Russian roulette gun, where you're like, wonder if if you're gonna just suddenly, is it gonna come out or not? And like, you know, it couples with the part where like a lot of pre-orders through just normal channels, like in Canada, GameStop, the one place where you pre-order toys. Well, one of two places. They don't collect up front, and so you're like, okay, I guess I'll just wait. Anyway, I rant about this constantly. I need to not go on and on. Much like toys are more expensive, this is, you know, slightly more contained, but this is also, it's not like this is only my problem. This is everyone's problem. And yeah, I mean, whenever I saw like people who were like really pointing, like, I don't think Nemesis looks very good, or I don't think this is gonna turn out well, I'm like, good, because she'll come out anyway. So if a lot of you don't want her, I won't have to friggin' chase her like I had to chase Scorponok and Omega Supreme, and I might actually catch one on sale even, and that would be super cool. Yeah. I'm also just like, there's something about the VF31 I just found, like the DX, that I just found super magical. But I was looking at High Metal R's recently, because they have a High Metal R VF0 now, and apparently it's perfect transform, and I'm like, ooh, did it turn out well? Because I like my High Metal R VF4, but I also think the VF4 just looks good. Hello, Transformatics. But yeah. I want to, with the panels I do, and with talking on here, like, I have this goal right now of, like, I want to find, like, this really nice common ground where we can just talk about, like, some of the troubles that exist now compared to a decade ago with collecting just Transformers as, like, kind of your main hobby, but without, like, spiraling too hard, because, like, at the end of the day, a lot of it is also entirely out of our control. Other than, like, well, I will not buy it, and it's like, okay, cool, but, like, and that's fine, and you probably shouldn't, especially if, like, you are affected by many of the other things in the world right now. But, like, at a certain point, like, there's like a sort of fun, but we're also all hurting constructive vibe I'm trying to nail down, because, like, a lot of toy talk is, like, really just hard to wade into nowadays, because, like, there is a lot of spiraling that happens, and it's completely understandable. Like, empathetically speaking, it's completely understandable. Like, toy collecting is way different now than 10 years ago, and depending on your age, there is a block of 10 years that can still feel like the present. And yet everything changed in a really unpleasant way. But on these streams and, like, in Discord and etc., I try to find, like, a kind of, like, happy middle ground where, like, yeah, this is acknowledgeable, but also let's make sure we're still having fun together as a bunch of folks. Yeah, Cybertron Metroplex, I've seen kind of just floating down, and, like, it used to be with the Titan class where it's like, oh no, if it goes on sale, Titan class might go away, and, like, now I think Titan class, if they're still making Titan class in 2023, I'm like, I think Titan class is probably safe for a while. And also, if it does go away, I feel like if Titan class closed the book next year, I feel like it had a good run for the most part, right? Like, it would be a bummer to me, but I also would, it's now at a point where I'm like, you know, Titan class did some cool stuff. And it earned its rest, especially if we bring back Ultra class. That's not to say I want it to go away, but, like, I feel less scared now about Titan toys going on sale I used to be so friggin' persnickety about, oh no, if Fort Max goes on sale, they're gonna can the whole Titan thing, and there's so much potential. And then like we actually hit all the potential, and I'm like, you know what, we actually have hit a lot of the high marks now. The thing with Titan late tax that I found, at least, is Titans are one of the first things that someone who loves them also will go like, I love this, and I need to give it to someone else for a nominal fee. So like there's it's long-term gaming, but like it's feasible to eventually just track down Titans you're still looking for through like trades and catching that one person at that one show who's just like, I'm sorry, but I need to move this on. Or that one sales listing, etc. You always got to put the word out in your circles, in your social circles, of just like, hey, I'm still looking for this thing. If you ever get a lead that isn't bonkers, let me know. And if it is bonkers, let me know, and we will laugh about it. I need to refill this thing. Like, I was chasing Scorponok and Omega Supreme for a couple years, and then, holy moly, I had the message of the century when someone's like, you want to do a big-ass trade for a whole ton of stuff that you're trying to sell for these two Titans, and I was like, damn straight, let's do it. And it felt super friggin' good. I'm being civilized, and I'm topping up my Coke Zero into an actual glass, because I'm being double civilized, and I got a slice of lemon in there for that idle vitamin C gain. Mm-hmm. I hope you can get that Triptychon too, dang it. Triptychon is still, like, I think one of my faves. Because I really dig all three modes, and digging the spaceship mode I think is clutch for Triptychon. Because if you like the spaceship mode, you suddenly have a Triptychon with like a legit alt mode, and it's like, oh, you cracked the code. That and like he has ankle tilts, which is really nice. That was the thing we were doing earlier when I was NPCing out. What was that? Was it ankle tilts? No, I gotta find a better tone. What was it? Bend them ankle tilts. Bend them ankle tilts. Yeah, there we go. Ratchet joint, click, click, click. Bend them ankle joint. Yeah, we got it. I'm gonna get rich. All right. I haven't got it down yet, but I'm getting in my reps for the fine Canadian industry. We're getting there. I like to think that I'm getting in on this, like, I'm getting in on it before it stops being funny, but after it's funny, like that really small window where, like, your parents don't know what that stuff is yet, but you're all over it, but I'm just now going, like, I figured out how to say NPC things. I'm always looking for that really specific timing. Anyway. I'm chilling out a little bit because let me get real badass with you here. I'm gonna pop the fountain of my throbbing riz on all of you for a second. Let me get in position. Actually, here, let me get in position. Hey there, hot stuff. I just want to let you all know I'm kind of hanging out for a little bit, because around about midnight, my mother is going to call me so we can celebrate my birthday together, and I can open my present. Baby cakes. How was that? Was that good? Was that powerful? Did you feel that through the monitor? I was working on that one a little bit. I was working on that one for a little while. Technically, midnight Toronto time is not my birthday, because I was born around midnight, but on the West Coast, but we're adjusting. And for those who are just joining, yes, it's not my birthday yet, technically, but I have a belief about how birthdays work, which is that you don't celebrate the day, you don't celebrate the number, you celebrate the person for a roughly 4-week window in either direction of whenever it is convenient for the two of you or multiples of you to convene and celebrate, so that you don't have to have everyone bend over backwards trying to make everything happen on one specific day, all focused around how many years old you are. I think that's stressful for everyone involved. So I'm always like, no, like you know, you have the friend who like, I'm so sorry, I'm busy on your birthday and I can't hang out. It's like, that's fine. When are you free? We'll just go and have a birthday to hang out some other time. We'll go to a nice burger place I like or something. And then someone's like, oh no, but you hung out already for your birthday. I'm like, yeah, now I hung out with on my birthday. I hung out with them on my other birthday time. But you and me, let's have a birthday hangout too. We'll go over here and we'll have milkshakes or something. That's my approach to it. When I talk about presents from my mother, it's I got Amazon delivery along with a text message of like, do not open the Amazon delivery, and I was like, oh, I won't even shake it. So yeah. Very close to where you lived, went to the island in July, camped at French Beach. Oh, I kind of know French Beach. Oh, you're in Delta. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm Victoria. Cruise ships. Oh, from Australia. Yeah, Australia gets like Australia, you guys get like the 0.1 version of New Me's, cuz they pop up over there to make sure they don't crash reality. Hang on, I got... What's going on here? Fixed it! Yeah, we make sure they don't crash reality. Oh, Sam, are you heading over to the island for Ultimate Toy Fair? By chance, perchance, art thou perchance traveling-y over to yonder island for yon Ultimate Toy Fairy? Pray tell. Forthwith. Because I'm heading over for that too. I'm going to visit my mom next month for a couple weeks. Also in time with a local over there toy fair being put on by Cherry Bomb, my good pals who doggedly survive having a cool business in Victoria. Damn it, because it's really hard. Hang on, this is getting all funky again. There we go. I got this thing. It's objectively speaking, because I've asked people. I ended up with okay hair. And then once I learned that, I've been like, oh, now I gotta be nice to it and treat it well. I need to get a haircut, though, really badly. Because the sides they're puffing. I need to get the sides, you know, and then the back, and then get the all this stuff, snip. Yeah, it's our ultimate.toyfair.com, I think, still. It's the September the 20-something. I think it's the last weekend of September, I think, or second to last. Anyway, I think it's a 2-day thing now. It's the Perks Arena one. Me and Face are both going to sell toys there separately, but together. Sideswipe Prime, you are puffing real bad. Yeah. Because every time, something, you know, especially with lockdowns, people are like, you should just let it grow, and I'm like, dog, no, I tried. Mine don't grow. It just puffs. And then up here, like, this will grow, right? But only to a certain point. And then it just stops, and then the rest of this just goes... And I'm like, if this, like, Shang Tsung'd back and down nice and long, I would have done it already. But mine doesn't. Oh, have a good shower, Picky Peas. Thank you very much for the wish. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. I know I've missed a bunch by name, but like I appreciate it a lot. It's very helpful for someone. Like, I have a thing I've identified where, and I've been training myself to accept compliments and things and kindnesses without like immediately getting upset. It's a weird thing I've developed over the years that I don't like because I think it's unhealthy. Because what is it? I feel in the 2000s, but really in the 2010s, especially the early 2010s, I think that in the kind of like the foggy haze of the pop culture, there was this real big thing about two things. There was a lot of self-deprecation and a whole lot of like you better be humble. And I think that eventually it's manifested into just like straight up like potential for self-loathing and potential for like really unhealthy reactions to praise and success, and even like on minor levels. And I've identified that that's a problem I have, and I'm trying to work on it. So that's my long short way of going. Like, thank you for saying happy birthday to me when I'm the birthday boy. Thank you very much for blowing the party kazoo while I wear my party hat. And breathe through the teeth. And through the jaw gills. Face, how was tacos? How was mucho? How was mucho? Because if it's good, I want to go there. Oh no, I have no intention, Ray, of being my own relative. Because like I wouldn't really. I don't find if I encountered myself. And it was like, yo, what if you could get it on with yourself? It's like, I don't think I think I might become buddies to a degree, but I don't think the spark would be there, I think I would friend zone myself extremely quickly. That said, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because like, this is another thing that we did, right, culturally. I say we. It's the collective we. The Western collective we, right? We turned the friend zone into this horrific minefield. It literally has the word friend in it. Imagine being upset that you have friends. What a freak I am about that. I'm not upset I have friends. I'm happy I have friends, but yeah. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, damn, friend zone. I was like, I want to go to the friend zone. Can you imagine if there was a friend zone? The zone where everyone makes friends? What a better world we live in. Like if we had, we had the spiral zone and we had the friend zone. And it's like, man, boy, do I feel lonely if I just had some friends. And he was like, I'm going to book a week in the friend zone. Like, holy crap. The world would be... Instead of the friend zone, we have the internet, which is not always friendly. But we do our best. These toys are all over where my things are supposed to go. I'm working on the flex zone. I submitted a prototype to the upper management, and they're like, we can't just let people get buff. And I'm like, why? And they were like, you got to expand on your case. And so I sent them a PS, and I was like, PS, why? They didn't reply to me. Because they're cowards. Ugh. You might think I'm putting toys back in like a really meticulous organization system, to which I say, ha ha ha! Oh, the fun zone would be... Although the fun zone feels nefarious. The fun zone feels sinister on the outskirts immediately to me. I don't know why, but... It might just be the effects of living in 2023, but like if someone says, hey, do you want to go to the fun zone? So if someone said, do you want to go to the friend zone? I'd be like, let's do it. Let's go to the friend zone and find friends. If someone was like, let's go to the fun zone, I'd be like, we're going to get murdered. Because it's a trap. Someone created the fun zone specifically for cannibalism. Like, and that's not healthy to think that way. I should think, wow, the fun zone. I bet that's where you go after you make friends in the friend zone. You go have fun in the fun zone. But no, I'm like, no, the fun zone, that's some serial killer thing someone made. People go in there, they don't come out. Anyway, I have to work on myself still, clearly. It's the fun zone. Nothing bad happens. I would love a calzone. Sorry, that was probably loud, but I have a lot of passion for the idea of someone giving me a pizza folded in half for easier consumption. Please. Yes, please. I would like a calzone, please. Mother, I would like a calzone. Mom, Daddy, I would like a calzone. That's bad. Don't do that. Don't. Okay, but none of you know you can actually make clips on YouTube, so I'm fine. Demonstrably, no one knows you can actually do that. It's a function they built in at some point. I did it to myself once to try it out. It's a nice function too, but it doesn't surface very good spreadable links. But you actually can make clips out of YouTube streams. They're trying to figure out how to... Because here's the thing, right? I like streaming on YouTube because you're all here. And I feel like it just works. But there's like all these funny buttons that Twitch has, which seems like they'd be really fun. And I think that YouTube is trying to build them into things here. Oh, we're talking about more zones. Stay away from the bone zone. Skeletons are a rowdy bunch. True. Zone of the Elders is not the video game that had the Metal Gear Solid demo, right? That was Zone of the Enders. The Transformers Zone should be a lot of fun. Instead, it's only half an hour long and they cut Predaking in half. It's kind of screwed up, to be honest. You can see his brain. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Captain Fanzone is just a human named after a guy. Really though, isn't that like this the most beautiful way for that story to play out? Is this a big thing? Is this like a grand tapestry of references within references? And you open the final page and it's just written in beautiful flowing script. He's just some guy. I had something on my mind that I wanted to pivot to right away, and where did it go? My mind's up here. Right! I said this on the Modular Media podcast I was on, which you should all go check out on the channel Modular Media, I believe. I have a community post about it. But, I'm working on... I had a... I think the term is a little overused and is maybe misapplied at this point, but I have what is in my head a video essay I am writing a script for. I'm only really thinking of recording it like this, just turning on OBS and reading it off the screen. I had really had this built up in my head for a bit, and I dropped it. And then I had a conversation with someone at a comedy night where you make PowerPoint slides, which is really fun. It's a whole other thing. And they were like, "No, you're right though," and they reignited it in my head. So, I'm working on my fun video essay. I'm gonna bring up the title of it. Here we go. It's called "Why I Hate Content," and it's about why it's fine that everyone calls it that, but I want to get off my chest why I hate that that's the word that we all use now, and that it's completely fine to say it. And there's no ill will meant in saying it, demonstrably. But I really want to like finally get out of my head and onto paper and into spitted words, why it bums me out on a certain degree, and like why I tend to consciously avoid saying the word idly. Like it still comes out now and then, but I've even tried to not use it as a derogatory, just because like I feel like that's letting them win. But it's also just a personal thing. But anyway, that's the thing I'm working on that I want to try doing as another little video type. I have almost 2 pages written. I think 2 pages is the limit for this before it becomes something else. Yeah, Robot Look, I've talked about it on stream before. So I'm trying to oh, Timu, thank you. It sounds like great content. I'm trying to put into. Can I read you all a bit of it to see? You can tell me if it sounds all right. I can read you kind of the opening before I get into the nitty gritty, because I'll just go for it. So it starts the title: "Why I Hate Content." I don't mind that you, specifically you, use the word content. You generally don't mean it as derogatory, and I wouldn't correct someone saying Kleenex by responding, "Actually, that's tissue paper." Sadly, I wouldn't even correct someone saying I'm Googling with, "You mean you're doing a web search?" This round of the greater war on the battlefield of common lexicon has already been concluded for the current era. However, I put in my best effort to never refer to things I make as content, nor for the most part the things made by my peers. I make videos, streams, and podcasts. Media, if you want a catch-all term. Enthusiast media or fan media. And for the most part, that's what every online creator is doing. The fact that content creator has been seeded into the general public as the catch-all term, to the point where young people actually say heartbreaking phrases like, "I dream of creating content someday," is a concerted effort to devalue the work done. Not only the concerted effort, not the only concerted effort, but a particularly effective one, given the fact that segments of the public now even refer to films as content without batting an eye. In my opinion, of course, and in the scope of contexts that I have seen in my individual experience so far, your mileage may vary. And then that goes on into a paragraph that starts off with, what is my big stinky problem with the word content anyway, and I go into details in there. I'm trying to put it into good words. But yeah, it's all just based on experiences I've had and things I've read and seen and that I've heard people say. Again, not even derogatory. But like, it has started that like some folks have referred to films, theatrical films, as content. That like I straight up have heard, you know, young enough people going like, I hope to create content myself someday. And it's like, I know what they mean, but like hearing it like hurts. Kind of, because whatever they're gonna make is better than that. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Like, I've got a lot of the words down now, the bulk of it. I'm trying to also figure out what the ending is, because it's like the crux of this is I'm not gonna change anyone's mind or change the world. I just want to like put out there the idea and put out there like, here's other ways you could refer to stuff if you want to. But like, I'm really like trying to be harsh on myself to never go like, it's bad that you say it, because like very few people say it with the intent of specifically like tweaking me. I think it will pick up whenever I like put this out, but at that point it's going to be obvious, right, when someone's doing it. And generally, I just assume anyone saying it is meaning well. And I've had people say like, "Hey, I love your content," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much." I'm not going to be like, "You love my what? Excuse me? You love my what?" Like, I'm never going to do that. But yeah, my new term is media. It's media. What are you? I am a media creator. I make fan media. What are movies? They're media. What are podcasts? They are media. What is streams? They are media. It's all media. Content has a certain inherent stigma attached to it that is extremely subconscious, but I think does damage to people over time. I think it's a little dangerous. Like I will say like Stratus Strong. Like, I think partner is fine, because like partner is often the choice of the unit. Like that's a chosen phrasing. And when it's a decision made, right, a conscious decision made, I think it's fine. The specific thing about content is that I don't think it is a conscious decision that's made. It's just the word. And my actual really specific problem is that it was made to be the word in a way that I feel was a concerted and purposeful effort by people who profit off of the work of lots of people, as opposed to people who create themselves. And that is my big problem. It is the word of the non-creative who profit off the creative, and I believe that they seeded it into the lexicon to further profit generationally off of the creative. By having people grow up dreaming of, quote, creating content, as opposed to dreaming of making films, creating skits, making music, being an entertainer online or something like that. Instead, it's like, I want to make content, and like, it inherently devalues and diminishes in a very subtle way. Because, as I said, a lot of people nowadays don't actually mean it as a derogatory. But I think that they're on a very wide scale, it does damage to the creative industry. And I think the creative industry is often constantly under assault as far as recognizing the individuals within it, as opposed to specific soul individuals, recognizing the large swathe, the literal industry of individuals therein as being worthy of praise and worthy of their work. Because, like, you know, and again, I really want to stress, this is not meant, this specifically, next bit, is not meant to be a guilt trip. It's just my easiest example. Consider how many names you see in the credit roll of a film, right? And then consider how many people look at a credit roll and then go like, so am I allowed to leave now? And like, and it's fine, because like the credit roll is it's not inherently interesting, but I think that was, again, something that was built generationally into the cultural mind, and then in the last 10 years, instead of sitting through a credit roll to observe the credits, you sit there because, like, so did they put a scene at the end or not? And maybe at one point, like, there was a bit of altruism in there of like, we're gonna figure out how to get them to look at the credits, but, like, you know, also demonstrably no one is looking at the credits, right? And like, it kind of bums me out, you know. So I've said this over and over. I just really want to stress, this is not me like looking at you going like, you don't read the credits, MF, you scum, because like, you don't have to read the individual can choose whether or not you want to read the credits. I just think like there is a wider thing. And yeah, there were fights just to have the credit roll, right? And then even now, like, great example, Rise of the Beasts. There are a lot of people who put in full-time hours on some possibly unreasonable deadlines to get the CG work and VFX work done on Rise of the Beasts. It's not just that their names are not in the credits, their company names are not even in the credits, because they were subcontracted. So there is no proof they ever worked on the film. And I think it's ridiculous. It really bothers me. And like, I know there are a lot of persnickety, granular conversations about the whys of why that doesn't happen, right? But then, like, I'm like, but let's also just say it out loud, right? There are people who put in full-time work on a summer blockbuster whose names are not in the credits. Full stop. That is screwed up, in my opinion. And then, at the same time, a lot of general publics, and again, it's not all of you, this is the wide scope. A lot of people really take for granted, or take with a level of contempt, I saw the word, but also it's on my mind, with a level of contempt, a lot of the people who work in those industries and the people who do have a big part in creating formative media, right? So the bit of all of this that really sticks with me, that kind of, you know, because it's a space I sort of am in, right, is the proliferation of content creator as a job title. Like, it really bothered me at PAX Unplugged when I got a media badge, and it was not a media badge. There were media badges and press badges, but mine said, oh, content creator. And I was like, I want to go throw up in a trash can. And yeah, there's like, there are, that's the thing, we have credits, but there are still uncredited people, and like, you know, there's going to be stuff that falls through the cracks, but like, when it comes to things like, oh, subcontracted VFX companies are not in the credits because we credit the company that subcontracted them, I'm like, that's screwed up, because there is a paper trail that it's right there. Anyway, yeah. I get on these tangents. Like, this is what happened on the Modular Media podcast, because I was like, let's talk about how creatives are worth money. Like, I always like to spread around, right? Like, if you are going to get work in video editing and you're like right out of film school or something, if you are right out of film school with nothing to your name, you are still worth at least $20 an hour at the minimum, if not $25 an hour Canadian, I guess. And as soon as you have one job on your resume, you are now worth at least $30 to $35 an hour. And it's because that was told to me by one of the instructors at my film school I went to, that I considered that film school experience to suddenly have become incredibly valuable. It's like, how many creatives go out there and they don't know what they're worth, and then the entire culture itself wants to tell them, well, you have a fun job, so you better be happy you get paid anything. And it's like, dog, no. But they still have a job that they gotta get paid for to live in the... where's my Joker mask? We live in a society. Something, something. Anyway, yeah. People are worth something, you know? Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with all that. Once I get going on... This is why I need, like, someone to tell me what the topic is when I really get into this, because I just go on and on. What's up, Picky Peas? I'm yelling about how creatives are worth money again. For, like, the 100th or 200th time. But yeah, it always stuck out to me as like another twofold thing, right? Art commissions for still art, 3D art, but you know, visual art commissions. It's a whole thing that exists. Video commissions, what's that? Never heard of it. Because it inherently is just going to be too expensive, and that's fine. But like, you look at what a lot of artists charge for commissions, and you ask them how long did that commission piece take you, and you're like you cost what per hour? What did you do to yourself? But then this is where it's really important, right? That is also the normalized rate, and then furthermore, everyone's poor, so you can't also go up to every single person on the internet who just wants a commission of their OC and they mean well. You can't go like, okay, well, I hope you're ready to pay $40 an hour for that, scumbag, or you're part of the problem, because like we have layered problems, so like everything is contextual and flexible. So I'm always like, yeah, with artists, it's like, is it an artist you know? Do you know they're undercharging? And can you afford to pay them more? Then you tell them, I am paying you better. But, do you know them? Can you not afford it? Can they afford to do you a favor? They might be doing you a favor. Pay it back to them later on, something like that. As individuals, we can barter and be flexible. But in the wider picture, boy, it's screwed up. Like, how undervalued, and then, like, it's not just how undervalued artists are in the commission space alone, but, like, some of the clapback they get the moment they try to show just a little bit of self-worth of, like, I think I'm actually worth this, and someone goes, like, I could get something like that done for a quarter of that cost from someone else. And it's like, yeah, dog, then go get it done, I guess. But then, like, you know, you stack on top of that when I realize, like, the art I do, which is in the video realm, videography, video editing, etc., there is no commission world for that, because there is literally, like, how do you put this? I think even the group think that creates the idea of, like, a still sketch is worth $5 cannot fathom the notion of the $5 video commish, right? So videos are just left out. For better or for worse, I honestly have no frigging idea. But then it creates this scenario where, like, if I were to try to hire myself out freelance to edit for people online, there is no normalization for any of that I've been able to find. And then, like, what is it? There was recently a story, and don't go drama digging. This is just, like, this is for educational purposes now. There was recently a story with the YouTube channel Quentin Reviews about a video editor he hired who went a little bit emotionally rogue, is how I would put it. And there was a lot of inappropriate stuff that happened in there, but, like, in seeing, like, you know, that was none of our business, none of the collective business to learn about, but it was put into a position where the channel owner, it behooved him to lay out some details, which was clearly uncomfortable to do. Within that, though, there were some really key educational moments where you saw, like, the dangers, right, of how nobody knows what video editing is worth. And when I say nobody, I mean, like, kind of in the vague brush general public. There are people who do know, but the capital N nobody doesn't know. And in that scenario, it sounded as though there had maybe been an agreed upon, like a handshaked rate for one finished video, but at times it sounded like he was coming up with, is this fair to, like, and not in a sneaky way, but it's like the work was done and then the channel owner was like, is this a fair amount to pay you, or should I pay you more? And then the editor going like, I think that's fair, or like, oh, actually I could use a bit more. And like that was how the exchange went. Between friends, maybe that's fine, but that's dangerous. So like, when I watched that, I was like, that screwed up that whole situation you went through, and it's a shame you actually had to lay that all out. Very small silver lining. That's one of the first times I've really gotten a look into like what YouTube editors' world is like. And if it is handshake agreements and figuring out payments, even in a friendly tone after the fact, screwed up for everyone involved, because everyone is in danger at that point. Like, let me lay out, this is, in case this is valuable. When you enter into an agreement to, say, become the video editor for someone, you should be coming up with a quotation based on known projects you're working on, so either for a known video, or if they make a regular type of video, a quotation for what that regular type of video costs. And that quotation should be based on an hourly rate and an hour-based breakdown of how long it takes to edit that video. I'm going to pull something up to read off of here, just to back this up a little bit. I need to dig into my Gmail for a sec. Excuse me. This is something I talked about in the podcast too, which is, I think, the importance of knowledge share and collaboration. I don't think I am at risk or at the risk of losing anything by just sharing some of this with you all to put out there in the world. I just need to pull up my thing here. Where is it? Sorry, I clearly was not prepared. Okay, here we go. So this was a quotation I had sent in regards to a potential YouTube thing, which didn't pan out, and that was fine. I was like, I'm not hung up on this being a thing, but if you are going to ask for a quotation, this is how my quotations work. And this doesn't even need to be signed contracts, but at least an initial quotation that is agreed upon, that is a document you have sent, is really important. So when I put this together, I was like, all right, so this is hypothetically for like a toy thing, right? Deliverables, one video piece. The video piece will be dynamic and kinetic footage of the finished piece. It'll have, an unboxing, some opening impressions, and some first impressions. There will, in the deliverables, there will also be like photography, video redirects, and awareness posted on social platforms. And if you have URLs for me to share, they will be in there. Additional benefit. Then next section, additional benefits, potential but not guaranteed. Subject of topical conversation in podcasts and live streams. Product presence in future channel productions, like it might be there in a video I make that, maybe it's a relevant comparison piece. And importantly, this is in terms and conditions, sorry. Last additional benefit, the ability to speak to the product or products and answer inquiries about them from my audiences across my platforms. So an additional benefit, if you send me the thing for coverage, for an unboxing first impressions coverage, is that I also can speak to it on public platforms if people are like, hey, what part is diecast? Hey, is that leg a ball socket or a hinge, etc.? In my opinion, that is also a direct benefit being gained by the client in this situation, because you are able to do ostensibly one level of customer service for them about a piece that someone may simply not have yet, if it's an advanced piece, etc. So then I went on to say, here we go, production service breakdown, hours are approximated. So this is ideally for if I was going to receive a piece promotionally and they would pay for coverage of it that is unboxing and first impressions, which, by the way, I have not ever actually done yet. No one has gone for the quotation, and I've been fairly stubborn on it, so I feel, and if it happened, I would be laying out immediately that this was a paid production within the production itself. That's also why, for a paid quotation, I specify it would be for an unboxing and opening impressions only, and not critical review, because I still want to keep that separate myself. So, production service breakdown, and this would be like, say I got sent an action figure, some kind of $50 high-end action figure. This is not what it was for, I'm just laying out a hypothetical, right? Script writing and voiceover, 2 hours. Professional videography for all footage recorded, 8 hours. Full editing and post-production, 8 hours. Export, publishing, social media dissemination, 2 hours. Total production service hours, 20 hours. And as I say right there, those are all approximated, but they are based on both my experience and my experience as a freelancer professionally, not doing toy videos, but doing educational and other types of videos as a professional freelancer. So the idea is just basically I lay out why I would be charging 20 hours, right? And then, this is important too. I then say, terms and conditions. 1. I retain sole ownership and publishing rights of the finished video piece. 2. A clear statement of sponsorship will be present in the finished video piece. 3. I retain full creative and editorial control over the content of the finished video piece. 4. I reserve the right to produce future coverage of the piece. For example, deeper critical review as articulated collector pieces, or if I did paint customization, or if I did comparisons to similar product, or if I did like a build fix video or something if it had a QC problem that became known over time. So I am saying I reserve the right to create critical coverage of it. And then final one is I basically say, you also have to pay me within a certain window of time, which I'm still kind of working out what a reasonable one is. And so then I went on to ask a few questions about the thing, but like, that is my approach for the, like, less than a handful of times I've been approached myself about quotation. I know there are people who get approached a whole lot more, and I wanted to make sure that, like, this knowledge floats around in the public sphere. The way I put it on that podcast was, like, if we all at least, like, think about things this way, companies can't use... Because companies... I genuinely think companies use very intimidating language about this stuff, if not on purpose, at least with the intent to be affirmative, right? And if you're a YouTube toy creator of media who just kind of started talking about their hobby, right? This happened years ago when another round of this stuff was happening with like the old 2014 Godzilla movie, etc. Like, these companies sometimes hire PR companies, and those PR companies especially are looking for bottom dollar top output, right? So they want to come in, they want to use big language, intimidating language, and they hope that you evaluate yourself not for your time spent, but for your outreach. And I think there's a very common logic. I used to think this way too, that your outreach is your worth, right, as a YouTube creator. But I need a sip. Consider this. And this is in the case of big companies. If this is a small indie company, right, absolutely different story. But if this is a big company with a big license, a big known franchise, they've hired a PR company, all that stuff, what they are actually looking to spend is money that they would otherwise be spending making a promotional material, video or otherwise, in-house, right? What they're hoping is they can spend that same amount of money to get a whole lot more people to make a whole lot more of that stuff, maybe a little bit more amateurly, but on a wider net for the same amount of money. And one of the ways they can do that is by saying, well, you only have 5,000 subscribers, so we're willing to pay $200 for that video. Now consider, $200. Let me break out my calculator just to be really certain about this. If they are charging you $200, right, and I just said it's 20 hours, right? 200 divided by 20. They are paying you $10 an hour to be a videographer, a video editor, probably a speaking host, and a writer, all at the same time. And that is the logic to approach this with. They are hoping to pay a one-person team a fraction of what they would pay a multi-person team to do that entire team's work multiple times over across multiple of these one-person teams. So that's kind of my approach to this stuff, and that's why, like, I hope, that, like, and this is also meant to be healthy and constructive, the way that we approach this, that we just establish the YouTube creator has to be worth their time, not worth their outreach, because you were going to spend that money internally otherwise anyway. So you're either freelancing a YouTube creator in who by happenstance have got an outreach, or you are paying internally. If you're trying to say you're paying for that creator's outreach, then who's paying for the production, right? That's the way I think about this stuff. Anyway, yeah, that got a little bit long, but it's one of those tangents I kind of go on about. That probably could just be another spoken piece video at some point. One friend of mine was telling me I should try to sell that as a class, and I was like, if a bunch of people hadn't stunk up the well of the notion of selling education online, maybe. I don't think there is a chance equal to the size of a centipede vomiting that anyone would ever pay for that information, unfortunately. So I just want to tell people. Omega Maximus, hello. You went to your local Targets in Fresno, CA, and still haven't found Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime. That sucks. I don't know how to help you because I'm not even in America. Our 102s are hypothetically at a Toys R Us somewhere, but I haven't seen one ever. But keep a lookout. Oh, what's up, Bees? The language comes across intimidating. Does it come off at all as purposefully confusing? Purposefully, no. I don't believe. But I think that inherently there is a little bit of confusion. Especially if you're out of your depth in this kind of stuff, or you've never... Not even out of your depth, it's just you've never been faced with this before. Because, like, I dealt with an influencer outreach PR company who... this was, like, about 8 or 9 years ago. For something real minor, but they wanted to do a full-on contracted thing, and their list of deliverables from me and deliverables from them, I told them straight up, I was like, listen, and this is not meant to be, harsh, these deliverables are ridiculous. Because they were like, I was like, I'd be willing to lose 90% of the deliverables you'd be giving me if we also chucked 90% of the ones you want me to do, because this is too much. Because it wasn't just make a video, it was receive product, make video, have the product's ad copy at the top of the description of your video. It went on to be, subscribe to our company's YouTube channel, comment on 6 of our company's YouTube channel's videos, like those videos as well. All this weird, unrelated social stuff, and then their deliverables to me was the mirror image. We will subscribe to your channel. We will comment on 6 of your videos. We will like 6 of your videos. And I was like, dog, there's no positive outcome. Either no one will notice you and me and this toy company suddenly being YouTube pals. Either no one will notice it, or worse, people will notice it. Because it looks really weird, right? And to their credit, this PR company was like, legit, we actually kind of agree with you. This came sort of from the company, and this was primarily the company's request, and we were just facilitating that, and we'll pass that along. And I was like, yes, please, absolutely, because, please do pass this along, because, this is... It's bad for everyone. There is no YouTube viewer who's going to be like, oh, dang, that's so nice that my favorite reviewer is commenting on a toy company's promotional videos and subscribe to them, and they did the same to him. That sure is great. At best, they'd be like, huh, funny, look at that. At worst, they'd be like, collusion, right? And I think this was before they hid who likes and dislikes and things, so I think at the time, it was still kind of trackable who was liking things, but Omega Maximus, I will continue, in fact, yes, to make more Transformers toy reviews. And I have seen Rise of the Beast. I got a video up, actually, that I filmed after I saw Rise of the Beast with kind of just I got home and I'm going to drop some takes here and there. It's about 20 minutes long. It's like one of these, but I recorded it. I didn't stream it. And it's most of my thoughts. We also have on WTF .TFW 2005, the audio podcast I do, we have a Rise of the Beast episode, which I would say is worth listening to. that was edited by an army of bees who does our podcast editing now. I don't have it on here on YouTube for a couple of reasons. Main one being, like, I know it's fine, but I still feel a little bit weird about putting, like, an extended conversation piece about a big blockbuster Hollywood film up right now amidst the industry's, sort of having a defining moment. But the audio podcast is up there and available, and I think it's worth listening to, but I'm highly biased, so bear that in mind. Yeah, Sideswipe Prime, like, at the time, I was really shocked that, like, that didn't seem to occur to this PR company, because I thought this was their idea, so I was like, most of my reply was just like, you see, right? How this would just kind of become my problem, right? Like, you understand. I hope I'm not talking down to you, but, like, you do see this. Timu, yeah, I want to make my website something again. I need, because whatever it wasn't working, and I never liked updating it, and it was, like, all these finicky updates no one was looking at, and it was getting messy, and so I have a GoDaddy account and space I've never used. I want to go in there and just snag one of their templates and build something simpler. I just haven't found the time yet, but I'm going to eventually be redirecting to away from that WordPress blog into something that's a little bit cleaner. I want to have my resume on there too, so I have, like, a nice clean resume with embedded links I can send in lieu of a demo reel until I get a demo reel put together better. Ooh, hang on. Oh, it's too late. Well, it's in there. I mean, it's on Paramount Plus. It's all right, but in future, like until like a feature is, like, about a year old, try to avoid, like, dropping an ending twist in there if you can, just for the benefit of the folks. I'm just gonna. Oh, there's no version of this that's nice. I think, okay, I'm gonna just remove quickly. No offense meant by that. It's just, like, in case someone comes in and looks at it right now, I don't want to mess it up. I know it's a little bit far removed, but, like, once or twice I've had someone come on a stream and go, like, oh man, I really didn't want to know that, and I felt kind of bad. So I hope this is okay. But I thought that bit was pretty funny. I thought the logo they used especially was pretty funny, because it is from some movies, and it made me laugh. Yeah, we don't actually know what the next Transformers toy line is called. We just know what it is coded as in a Walmart computer with Uni on the end. That could mean anything. I was talking about this on the Discord at one point, because the question kind of came up of, like, was it on the Discord or was it just a DM? I've been asked it in multiple places, which is, like, do you ever want to cover, like, leak lists or stuff? And, like, my answer usually is, like, not really, and it's, to be honest, not out of any moral obligation. It's that, like, especially the computer leak lists, I have nothing to say. Like, when I see, like, a bunch of names in a computer listing, it's like, oh, what do you think about this? And I'm like, it is a bunch of names in a computer listing. If I start hypothesizing what the toy could look like, it will now look better than anything that it actually could be when it comes out. So I just kind of don't. So yeah, like, there's something about the next Legacy line, and maybe, like, some leakers were like, it is Unity. I'm like, okay, but much like Legacy Evolution, right? That's you put a word after Legacy that could mean anything. So it's like Kingdom, right? What is Kingdom? I mean, people are like, the Kingdom of the Beasts, but it's like, not one of you thought that on your own when you heard the word Kingdom. Masterpiece Plus in a Scout class, obviously. Yeah, Legacy Unity, demonstrably the mainline version of Missing Link. Obviously. I have thought about doing live streams where I go in expert style and just assert something that can't possibly happen, but really aggressively. But whenever I have the energy to do that, it's, like, too late at night, or, like, the moment's passed. But but like I'm working on it. Scorp, the Unity gimmick is putting weapons together, dog. But what if already? What if Evo Fusion? Blow your mind. That's right, Dynamo Dave. What? I'm not showing you that again. That was leaked. That was leaked. You don't tell Hasbro I showed you that, or they're gonna send the Pinkertons after me, alright? I think Evo Fusion, the joke, not you know, the actual gimmick, I think the joke, Evo Fusion, is one of the most wholesome and beautiful things Transformers has had in a very long time, and I hope that we all keep doing it with good faith and good humor and not mean, because I think that everyone, even in the Hasbro end, I think that they all get it, and I think they're in on the joke. I genuinely think they're in on the joke. I think some of the packaging photos, they are satisfying a function, but they are also absolutely in on the joke. I think everyone's in on the joke. They can never acknowledge it. But if I ever had a big conspiracy theory about Hasbro in 2023, it's that they're in on the joke for Evo Fusion. Wizards of the Coast. So here's the thing: when it comes to someone sending the Pinkertons, technically it's Wizards of the Coast, but in that regard, that is Wizards of the Coast, a sub company owned by Hasbro. I've seen the notion of like going like, oh, it was WotC, it wasn't Hasbro. It's like, no dog. If we're gonna go, it was this, not that, it was Hasbro, not WotC. Like, WotC are not in a position to just rogue send the Pinkertons. WotC's products make Hasbro a lot of money. That's why that happened. Now it's not literally everyone in Hasbro. Hasbro top to bottom is not a whole bunch of people going like, damn yes, the Pinkertons. It's probably 99% people who go like, what word did you say? Oh, let me spit on the floor, right? But you get someone who's way up here who's like, oh, I'm buddies with Mr. Pinkerton, right? That person way up here who's like is not even provable to be a human anymore is probably the one doing that. Yeah, Timu, I think they're in on most of the jokes. Like, there are jokes that like PR would get super mad if they get in on because they are either too derogatory or they are too inappropriate. Like, I won't tell you how I know this, right? But at a certain point, someone who was working for Wizards of the Coast could not, on recorded record, ever speak to the notion, even jokingly, of physically eating trading cards from a trading card game. So, like, there are things they just can't say even as a joke because, like, there are litigious doors that slam wide open, no matter how unreasonable those doors are. And I'm sure there are some that they would love to get in on that they can't. That's why I'm always happy to see whenever they can get in on any of them. Omega Maximus, there is a reason probably why they probably will not do the Twins in Studio Series, but that's what do we call that? That's on one of the higher Thetan levels. You got to buy more of the books, and then no one in the chat can elaborate on this, but once you get your Thetan levels up and you find out more about the volcano, we can get more into that. I can't speak to that. Hasbro PR, as I said, they will send the Pinkertons after me. I am in danger, so I can't speak to that. And yeah, Transformers convert. Remember the line. Autobots, convert, and drive forward. It's a classic line from 1984. I probably should actually start winding down because it is 1:45 the mid. And if there's someone who knows about being mid, we don't self-deprecate anymore. We do it in good, because mid is half full. I went to grab something, and I missed by 6 inches. Okay, I got my mouse. Yeah, Team. Yeah, green. Oh, if you're gonna spoil it, yeah, green and orange are hard colors to do, and it's really difficult. So I want to get you. I want to get to the thing I do. Or I close up. We turn this on. Ah, we did it. So, thank you all for hanging out for this stream. I say this every time, and then some kind of horrible thing happens to punch me in the brain with psychic damage. But I assert every time because if I assert it, then it could happen. If I don't assert it, maybe it'll never happen. I want to stream more often because streaming makes me happy. And I'm gonna stream whether or not I have toys to unbox. We can do listicles! We can go run through the front page news or something. I just want to stream more often. I have so much fun doing it. It's such a nice thing, and if I don't do it a whole lot, then I drag out these outros because I'm like, now I'm never gonna do it again for 8 months. So thank you all for hanging out in the stream. Thank you for participating in the chat. Thank you for those of you who dropped super chats. And if this drove you to join the membership or the Patreon, which are both identical, you can just join one or the other. Don't do both. Unless you really want to. You don't have to do both. If this got you to do any of that, then that's even more cool, but you don't have to. You can just come by, hang out, participate, be cool, and be kind to all of your fellow feed chatters, users on the channel. And I got more Fan-Expo to do, so I'm just gonna film a funny vlog. There's no Transformers to film there, man. You just gotta look at that Blitzwing. Look at that Toy Guys Blitzwing photo, or my photo. I put one up too. His is better. It's funnier. Anyway, to the screen. Metamorph! I am aware. I am a host and I am kind. I am the pre-stream and I am the post-stream. But I know what tongue is. I have felt taste and I have masticated. I want more!
Let them come.